In 1975, executive producer Edward R. Pressman was introduced to Conan the Cimmerian, a fictional sword and sorcery hero who originated in a series of pulp magazines in 1932. Also known as Conan the Barbarian, the character's mythos had spanned to books, written by the creator of the character Robert E. Howard, as well as comic books. Pressman was shown the recent reprints of the Conan comic books, often with intensely detailed cover artwork by famed sci-fi and fantasy artist Frank Frazetta, which were once again becoming very popular among young men in America. After the release of Star Wars in 1977, Hollywood was definitely interested in making more movies based on high-concept fantasy adventure stories. Conan the Barbarian was ripe for the picking. Director John Milius initially expressed interest in directing the movie for Pressman as early as 1978, but discussions fell apart. Oliver Stone, a named screenwriter at the time, was brought on to entice Paramount Pictures into funding the film's initial $2.5 million budget. However, Stone's finished script blew up the budget to somewhere around the $40 million mark. Pressman reached out to Milius again to see if he could direct the movie for less, and Milius agreed to direct if he could rewrite the script, which he did. After watching the 1976 weightlifting documentary Pumping Iron, Milius had found his Conan in a then unknown Austrian bodybuilder by the name of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Due to his thick accent, Arnold was given a minimal amount of dialogue. The epic score was composed by Basil Polidorus and went on to become an iconic piece of music, used in trailers for years after this film's release. The movie received mostly positive reviews and went on to make around $79 million. It was considered a hit and something of a star-making vehicle for Arnold Schwarzenegger, who went on to play Conan once more in the inevitable sequel. But what did we think of this movie? Get ready to crush your enemies, to see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentations of their women, because we're about to tell you why this movie is best in life. Join myself, Matt McGregor, along with my co-hosts Harris McCabe and Colin Shaw, as we stab and hack our way through the first movie in the epic Conan the Barbarian two-fer franchise of films. This is 1982's John Milius classic, Conan the Barbarian. This is a show about franchises, sword and sorcery franchises. You're listening to License to Watch.
Why in the world was this movie made?
Behind my back,
like USA Up All Night. Do you guys remember that show in the 90s?
Vaguely. Did this show
Wait,
movies?
what show? Parker Lewis Can't Lose?
Yes, no, USA Up All Night.
Oh yeah,
USA
with the blonde lady.
On Saturday nights.
USA Up All Night.
It was her, and then I think it was Gilbert Gottfried at one point.
Yeah, he did it. Yep.
But then TNT had their own version of that, and it was hosted by a guy named Joe Bob Briggs.
Yeah, Joe Bob Briggs' Drive-In.
Yeah, it was just called Joe Bob Briggs Drive-In. That's what the name of it was.
I think it's Joe Bob's Drive-In.
So
with Joe Bob Briggs.
Yeah, I have like this really specific memory of when I was like around 13-ish or something like that, and I used to do like one weekend a month at my dad's house, and sometimes he would go out and he'd be like, yeah, you know, we're leaving Saturday night for a while, and like you gotta do something to entertain yourself. So I watched the entire TNT Joe Bob Briggs presents Conan and then Conan the Destroyer back to back with the commercials and all of Joe Bob's little like interludes, and he was like, you can have one beer and order pizza.
Oh, that's
I was
nice.
like, oh, a beer.
With your babysitter, Joe Bob Briggs.
Yeah, Joe Bob Briggs was my babysitter, and I'm happy about it.
You said you were 13?
Something like that. Like, I don't know. Like, I
was drinking a beer by yourself at 13 like something
the thrill of a lifetime. You
Yeah,
have no
probably.
idea the emotion of it. the crack of the can.
I just
oh
had
my
to.
God.
I just had to Google Joe Bob Briggs.
Yeah. Have you seen him before?
No, maybe he also hosted TNT Monster Vision.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That came later, I think.
Yeah.
But it was basically the same thing.
And
But
The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs.
That's what it was called, The Last Drive-In.
Joe Bob Briggs' stuff was always like a little more like popularly accepted or like mainstream. Like the USA Up All Night used to show the most random shit, and I swear there's so many great. I think that's the first place I saw Jim Cotta, but it's also like Massacre at Central High, which is like this amazing like kind of slashery revenge teenage thing from the 70s that they intercut with a bunch of porn that they then cut out for the TV versions. But like also like Class of 1984, so many great like kind of actually really good movies that just were really low budget and were like midnight movies were on USA Up All Night.
Yeah, me and my brother used to watch Duckman and Weird Science. Do you guys remember those shows?
Yeah, yeah.
And then as soon as Weird Science ended, USA's Up All Night would come on. And yeah, they would usually play horror movies or like risque. Like, do you remember Red Shoe Diaries?
Yep.
I remember that show used to come on sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember seeing some werewolf movie and it scared the crap out of me. I think it was The Howling.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Do you guys know that movie?
I mean, that's kind of that's almost more of a Joe Bob Briggs thing because it was kind of a mainstream release. A lot of the but Up All Night sort of ran the gamut from like underappreciated horror movie gems to like real obscure cult classics. But I just remember there's so many great movies that I saw for the first time on that, like with the commercials and everything. Only because I didn't have a bedtime and was just allowed to stay up and watch TV after everyone else went to bed, and so I just would never go to sleep.
Yeah, I like Joe Bob Briggs's vibe though. He had his whole set was just a trailer in a trailer park with a lawn chair, a folding lawn chair, and he
Unpretentious.
was just like, yeah, he would have been creepy if he didn't come with like a lot of nice energy, you know.
Yeah, I remember his accent. He had like a thick
Yeah,
southern accent, possibly from Texas.
Or possibly just made up for the show.
yeah.
Yeah,
We'll never
because
know.
he looks nothing. Wow, he looks totally different.
His real name is Quincy Bridges.
Oh,
Does that offend
No,
you
it's
as
not.
a Texan?
yeah, that's a lie.
I know. I lied.
No, John Irving Bloom.
Wait, is that his real name?
Yeah, but I'm looking at the pictures of him in the cowboy hat. You know, he's convincing.
Oh, Colin, do you remember yesterday I told you that he was in movies too, and I could envision him like in a like one of those leather aprons, you know, like a doctor would
Yes,
wear or
yeah.
like a surgeon.
Right.
And I told you I was like, he's probably in like one of the Hostel movies, like torturing someone or something. I just looked it up. He's the prison medical technician from Face Off.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That is, and that's such a tiny blink and you miss it part, but I totally remember that.
It's like,
Yep.
when are the prison reform bills going to include boots that magnetically stick to the floor? You know what I mean?
Yep. This is what we all need.
I know.
I mean,
dude.
I think they should put that in the public schools.
Erewhon Prison. Build it for real.
I'm glad you just name dropped that prison because I was just going to say that there's like a chain of high-end like health nut supermarkets out here called Erewhon.
Yep.
And anytime anyone talks about it, I think of Erewhon Prison. And I'm like, wait, you want to go to Erewhon Prison?
The
That's
Geneva
Detroit.
Convention. The Geneva Convention doesn't even know they exist.
They say that, don't they?
Yeah. Same with the grocery store, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
Oh my God. Well, all right, let's start the show. We are here and we are talking about a classic movie. This is the first movie in our third twofer series coverage. Of course, we did the two Mortal Kombat movies. We did the two Magic Mike movies. And now we're moving upward and onward to the two Conan movies. Is that what it's called? Just the Conan series, or do people call it the Conan the Barbarian series?
I think it might say. I think on
He's
the
only the
DVD it says-
barbarian in the first one.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
I
a
think it might
destroyer
say,
in the second one.
The complete
Right.
saga or something. On
He
the
was going to be a
DVD.
conqueror in the third one, but that never happened.
Oh, I heard they want to do one called The Legend of Conan, and it's like him, but he's old now, of course.
Yeah, I really like how in the opening monologue or whatever they say that his destiny is to sit on a throne with a troubled brow. I just think it's poetic. I don't know.
Doesn't that describe us all?
It's a
Yeah.
cool line. It's a cool line.
Anyhow, the first movie, of course, is Conan the Barbarian. Joining us for this very special episode is our returning guest and friend of the pod, Tim Kozlenko.
Hey,
Tim,
what's
what's
up,
up,
guys?
dude?
Nothing, man. Thanks for having me back. I always like to talk about these silly, violent movies.
And we picked the silliest and the most violent.
Nice. Definitely different energy from Lethal Weapon 4, which was my last time on here.
Right,
that was
right.
more silly and less violent. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I mean, a
guess
guy
it
did
was
get
less
impaled
violent.
on rebar.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Didn't they burn a guy's house down and like threaten to kill a child or something? Or,
and
like, a
still less
pregnant woman?
violent.
They're
Yeah.
both violent. Yeah.
But that was all funny.
Yeah.
That was all part of the
Right.
jokes.
Right.
Violence is funny.
They were wisecracking the entire time.
They're similar in ways, you know. Danny Glover would have been a great character in one of these.
Like maybe Thulsa Doom's cousin, who he crashes on the couch, but he doesn't really
Fred
participate
Doom.
in any of the snake cult things.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, Thulsa, do you have any more coconut cream? You're out of coconut cream.
Again
Thulsa's
with
like,
the
where do you
snakes.
even get coconut cream?
Again with the snakes. I'm too old for this shit.
Reached in the fridge for a beer and a damn snake bit me. But like this movie does have some Mel Gibson director Mel Gibson kind of violence, with the
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
especially toward the climax. I feel like the intro sequence there, it's all the sort of bloodless slashing that you'd find in like the 80s movies, or especially the ones for kids. But
Yeah.
once the climax begins, they're just fucking whipping out the buckets.
Yeah, it's like they saved the best for last.
Yeah, yeah.
It's more like they had
It's a
a
steady
blood
build.
budget, and they were like, listen, you get 18 gallons of blood for this whole movie. And they're like, no, we need at least 60 or 70. They're like, no, you get 18, 20 tops. And so they saved it for the end. They definitely had like a fake head budget that was similar.
Nice.
You know what I
the
love
big
is
head.
they had so many of those just like blood packs that are like taped to a guy's stomach. And they just explode when you hit him in the stomach.
Well, they definitely had, because I saw some, there was some deleted scenes on my DVD of this, and I watched them, and there was one where Max von Sydow gets stabbed, and you can hear the squib going off like a gunshot. So it's like he gets stabbed and like the squib explodes blood everywhere. And I was like, what the fuck was that? Did some guy just shoot him? Is this a deleted scene where Max von Sydow gets shot in Conan?
Well, if you have the right kind of snake, you can shoot anyone from anywhere.
That is true. What does he whisper to it?
Seek.
Yeah. Well, I think this might be because this is like I didn't do a lot of research on this, but I did see some behind the scenes stuff. So apparently one of the producers had Arnold attached for a while, but couldn't get it off the ground and couldn't get a good script ready. So they brought on Oliver Stone to do another pass in the script, and he wrote this like super violent, super long epic that was all about like warring armies, and it had monsters, and it had ogres, and it had a bunch of like weird random shit in it that's not in this movie, and like it had way more dialogue, and there was all these like warring factions and whatever, and like massive battles of like hundreds of people, and then when they couldn't get it financed. And then they said that like Dino De Laurentiis had been looking for something to do and had been kind of circling this as a potential project. And they were like, oh, we could just sell it to him. So they sold it to him and he basically did it on the cheap. So they basically cut like, all the armies that were like hundreds of people fighting turned into like 40 guys, and that kind of, so it all got scaled down a little bit.
Yeah, I read that Oliver Stone's version was post-apocalyptic. It was like a future world. And they didn't want to do that. They wanted to scale it down so it could be like empty desert landscapes and stuff. And so when Milius came on board, he was able to rewrite it and like cut all the costly elements out.
Yeah. Yeah. A big part of the reason they hired Milius, I think, was because he was going to do the rewrites himself for free. So they're like, you're hired.
Director John Milius. So I've watched the commentary before, and the number of times that Arnold says Director John Milius is just wonderful.
Do we know what John Milius was up to career-wise at this point? Did anyone do any research?
I don't know.
I don't really know too much about him.
I've seen
I'm
that documentary
Something
about him.
manly for sure.
Something manly.
Definitely something manly and slightly right wing.
Slightly.
Yeah.
Matt and Harris, or I think Matt knows that has met John Milius's daughter before.
Oh yeah, we went to school with Amanda. She's very nice, even though I don't agree with any of her politics. So, I mean, she's definitely far right. But I worked on her thesis film. She is a nice. I thought she was always nice personally, but didn't know her that well.
Yeah, same. I know her.
He had a hot streak going.
He did.
Right?
I mean, he did.
For a while?
What was his follow up to this? Red Dawn.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it was
think so.
around,
Yeah. And that was
Red
kind
Dawn
of
with Swayze.
Yeah, I think before this he was mostly a writer. He directed some stuff, but I don't think he had a big hit. I'm trying to think of what he.
You wrote Apocalypse Now?
Yeah,
Is that
he
his big
definitely
thing?
wrote on Apocalypse Now, and I guess The Wind and the Lion was probably his biggest directorial thing. He wrote on a lot of the Dirty Harry movies, and he wrote Jeremiah Johnson, which was
How many Dirty Harry movies are
There's
there?
5, I think.
Five?
shit.
Yeah, there's 5, and he wrote on.
When does he take a
3 of
bath?
them.
In the Deadpool, which is the last one.
And
I mean, I guess he could do showers or whatever.
Well, the dead shower doesn't sound as good.
did you see Conan when you were young?
Yes.
Well, I know you saw it on TNT, fucking up all night. But what about Matt and Harris?
I saw this movie for the first time about 2 years ago,
Oh, wow, yeah.
I want to say. Yeah, this is not a childhood movie for me for
Yeah,
some
me
reason.
neither, me
As
neither.
big of an Arnold fan as I was.
I'm sure I probably saw this on TV, but it was definitely like something that my dad would sit down and like be like, "Hey guys, we're gonna watch Conan," because he was a big Arnold fan. So I know, like, I feel like anytime an Arnold movie was on television, which at a certain point in like the late '80s, early '90s was kind of like all the time. There was always one of his movies on. And I think it was kind of like that was the thing, like with the Bond movies too. I can't remember a lot of other movies where my dad would get excited and be like, "Oh, sit down, we got to watch this." And they were pretty much Conan or Arnold movies and Bond movies. Those were like the two that were like, "Oh, guys, we're gonna learn about being a man today."
Boys, it's about time we learn how to be men.
Get back in here for man time. Get in here, damn it. It's man time.
We're gonna hear the lamentations of the women.
Get that beer from the fridge like I told you.
Your first beer.
Now drink it alone,
Yeah.
just like your friend Colin.
Are you feeling any
around.
feelings? Don't feel those.
Stop it. Stop it right now. It's man time. You stop it with the feelings. Stop it. Yeah, it sounds like cinema.
Tim, you said you saw this for the first time as an adult too?
Yeah, probably, in my 20s, I think. I still don't know how I feel about it. I've seen it probably 5 times, There's a lot of stuff that I like a lot, but then there's whole chunks of the movie where I'm like, can you speed this shit up? Or can you, like get on a track that I can follow? I don't know.
Yeah. There's some stuff that happens that's like deliberately drawn out for effect, and sometimes it works and it's cool, but then it reaches its plateau and it's like still going, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I understand what you're doing here, I like it, but now it's time to move on with the rest of the movie.
I was
So yeah, I kind of agree.
I was flabbergasted at how long this movie was. And
Yeah.
to its credit, it doesn't feel super long. Like, I mean, we watched Showgirls recently, which we all joked was like a 2-hour movie that felt like a 4-hour movie. This one is definitely like a 2+ hour movie that feels like, maybe even a little bit shorter than that, but they're going for an epic here. They're just, there's so much. And like, I forgot how much of his youth and his like becoming Conan we see in this, you know, from like his village getting razed to him being sold into slavery to him being a fighter to him escaping. It's like all, you know, the actual plot of the movie with him versus the snake cult where he goes out for revenge doesn't even start until like 40 something minutes in.
Yeah. So, I mean, the length, the slowness, the boringness, it's not a problem for me. We all know that I've been like long time advocate for movies being longer, slower, more boring. But I don't know. Like, I'd say my problem is, to kind of touch on what we were talking about is some of people's attitudes about the movie. So we see his entire journey through slavery, right? And it's kind of like he works his way out of slavery because he's just good and works hard. And, like, that's kind of not how slavery works. So, like, I think there's a lot of people who see this movie and say, like, if you just go real hard, you can just dominate everything in life. And, like, that's kind of not how life works.
Well, he's bought out of like hard labor to become a pit fighter. So it's not really like, it's not like he escapes slavery through hard work. It's like he's big and muscly, and they realize that he's more valuable as like this gladiator type of guy.
I know,
which isn't necessarily like, that's not an upgrade. That isn't freedom.
It's not that his story arc that they give you isn't possible. It's that, like, in general, the attitude that, like, you know, like, it's not a big deal because there's, you know, you can just beat everything by being strong. Like, that's kind of, yes, like, it is good to, like, try to be strong and, like, overcome your obstacles, but, you know, like, that's still really vague. You can't just say, like, oh, just win, you know? And
so just so I'm clear, Colin, because I feel like I'm not getting your point entirely. You're saying that you are pro-slavery now? Is that what you're getting? I just wanted to clarify.
How is that what I said?
Oh, okay. Because it was a little, I couldn't quite figure out what it was. So I just want to clarify that you are either pro or anti-slavery. I want you on record here.
He is anti.
I want you on record.
He's against it. But
highly
Colin,
anti-slavery. Good.
He does die and he has to get resurrected by his buddies, right? So
yeah.
Yep.
It's not just all him.
That's my favorite part, really.
He gets by with help.
Especially the part when he bites the vulture on the neck.
Yeah, that was cool,
that is the best part when he's crucified and has to fight a vulture.
Way ahead here.
I do have a question though about the I know we should talk about the intro for sure, but the wheel thing, just is that to make him big and into like a pit fighter, or what the fuck are they doing?
Me and Matt talked about this a lot, and
I'm
just like,
I'm
convinced that they're making something, but it's not important whatever they're making, because there's like a little access hole that goes underneath where the rocks. There's like rocks in the middle, like big circular stones.
It's in the middle
that
of
are getting
nowhere.
Turned in the middle of the And like,
I was gonna say, the wheel is the origin of Nike sneakers.
I was gonna say, I assumed because like normally a wheel like that would like crush up grain for like bread or something, like a windmill or something. So what I was assuming was that I don't see any grain, I only see rocks. So I assumed that wheel was crushing big rocks into smaller rocks for like gravel for like gardens, like in Arizona homes. So they were just making like garden gravel or driveway gravel. Am I way off, or
they're making rocks small enough to eat?
Yeah, I feel like I can see like a powdery substance in there somewhere if I look really closely. And then again, there's other buildings. There's like there's a side building, some kind of processing building. And honestly, it's
that
really
might be where they
confusing.
sleep. That might be the barracks.
Yeah, but by the time Conan leaves, he's the only one there. And they're like, we'll just abandon this project. Like, what happened?
They had enough gravel, and they were like, we're done.
What happened to the community served by the Wheel of Pain,
I don't
know.
I like the way it's shot, too. It's like we're led to believe that he just steadily pushed that wheel for years until he until he aged into Conan.
Yeah, like he started off as a little boy and then just grew up into a man and never left the wheel.
Yeah, that's a huge time
Which
jump,
we know that isn't true because there would be so much shit and urine following him if he never left that wheel. He must have gone somewhere.
Yeah, I've never.
Maybe that's what it's grinding up.
I've never liked that sequence. I've never liked that sequence as a time jump, and I am pro time jump, like in movies.
Yeah,
I'm big pro time jump.
Well, it allows us to skip a lot of bullshit, which this movie doesn't usually. So I'm definitely for skipping whatever we can afford to skip.
I also love that pushing a big wheel gives you bodybuilder muscles. So like,
right, it's very
when
balanced.
When is he like targeting the lats?
Yeah, exactly. Well, every once in a while he'd push it sideways. He was very good about like mixing it up, little change in his routine. Sometimes he'd push it backwards. Sometimes he'd walk in his hands and push it with his feet.
I just feel like wheel pushing would really be like all in the calves and
it would probably be all lower, like glutes and calves and quads.
Yeah, definitely quads.
Harris, I'm not sure if you realize this, but it's your turn to summarize the plot.
Oh shit!
Movies.
Damn. Yeah. Well, thank you for reminding me now instead of a while ago when this might have been helpful to me.
If you go from the intro to the second half of the movie, and you won't miss a thing. Like,
yeah,
really.
I feel like I could just be like Conan's born, and then later he escapes from slavery. But all right, I will try to do it. It's not gonna work.
All right.
Don't forget the riddle of steel. The
Wait, do I know the riddle of steel? Do I even understand what that was? I don't know. I'm also going to do this all while watching the last minute of this Nuggets game because it's a 2-point game. So this degree of difficulty.
Thanks for that nugget of information.
Yeah. All right.
Just blaze through it.
Matt, you got the clock ready? Let's see if I can beat the end of this game. All right,
ready? On your mark, get set, Conan.
Okay, so we open up with Conan, and he's a boy, and his dad is telling him about the riddle of steel, and it doesn't really make sense yet because there is no riddle. He doesn't tell him what the riddle is, but he's like, hey, we worship this god, and this is the riddle. And then a bunch of snake guys led by Thulsa Doom, who is James Earl Jones, come into their village, which is kind of like a primitive-looking village, and he slaughters everyone, even though the guys fight heroically and everything. And then at the end, he chops Conan's mom's head off, and somehow he lets Conan live, and then Conan becomes a slave, and he works until adulthood pushing this gravel wheel where he makes gravel for nice houses. And then he eventually gets sold to this pit fighter guy who takes him to this fighting arena that's sort of like a gladiator thing, except instead of in a big arena, they're in like a ditch. And he becomes like the greatest fighter there, even though he doesn't even realize what fighting is at first. And some guy like bites his neck open. And then he gets like women and fame, but he's still a slave. And then one day he gets a chance to escape, and he runs for it, and he fights off some dogs and blah, 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 blah. So then he takes off and he meets this guy, Sobotai, who's this thief and archer. And they go out and party, and they're drinking, and they're getting all fucked up, and they're looking for shit to steal. And they steal this snake. They see the snake temple, and Conan's like, oh yeah, I hate those fucking snake guys. Maybe this is the same guys who killed my family. And they decide they're going to rob the snake temple. And then while they're doing it, they meet this woman whose name is Valeria, and she's like a badass warrior like Conan. And she's going to rob the snake temple too, so they all decide to do it together. And they go in and they steal this jewel, but then Conan gets distracted because he realizes it is the same snake cult that killed his family. And then he gets attacked by this giant snake, and he kills the giant snake, which alerts all the people in the temple that they're there, and they have to fight their way out. But they steal this really precious jewel that they have there. So then they get away, and they get captured because they're spending all this. Holy shit! Really? Is that where we're at? So they're spending all this money, so they get captured by this guy who's this king, and he's Max von Sydow, and he says the snake cult has stolen my daughter, and I'll pay you to get them back. So they go off on this adventure to. Oh my god, this is so fucking bad. They go on this adventure to. Conan's going to get revenge, but really they're going to try to get the daughter back. And first Conan gets killed trying to get revenge, and then his friends bring him back to life because they meet this medicine man who's actually the narrator of the story. And then they eventually go back and they steal the girl, but the snake cult kills Conan's girlfriend, who he's in love with now. And then they wait for the guys to show up, and Conan fights them, and they kill them all. And then Conan fights Thulsa Doom and beheads him in front of his whole cult. And that was terrible. I was so far over. It was hard. Sorry.
I mean, lots of detail. There was lots of detail.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it was kind of.
Missed the witch though.
Blame it on the playoff game.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the witch. Yes, there's a lot of things Holy shit, this is a really good game too. Anyways, yeah, not my best work.
The funniest moment of the movie for me, which you talked about, is when he's battling the giant anaconda Resident Evil snake.
Yes.
But like the cult like hasn't noticed yet. They're just going about their ceremony.
Like literally one floor above him with an open pit to what he's doing.
The intercutting.
The best is like they don't reveal that it's an open pit that like they could hear everything, and all they have to do is look down until like the shot when they realize that the snake is dead. I was like, oh shit, it was all happening right there.
God, the intercutting was making me laugh so hard. Unbelievable.
It's actually, I didn't notice this. Obviously, I've seen this movie a bunch of times, but I don't think I've ever seen it where I noticed that that's like a direct callback to, there's a silent film called the Seven Voyages of Sinbad, I think. It's kind of a seminal silent film where he fights a dragon and similarly like stabs it in the head from below. And then there's actually a Fritz Lang movie called Siegfried, where they pay homage to that with the exact same thing. And it's the exact same kind of like, they're actually pretty sophisticated puppets for the old silent films. And the Siegfried one, at least, when he stabs it, a bunch of blood gushes out. And when I saw this in Conan, it's the exact same like giant puppet dragon thing. He stabs it right through the head, and a bunch of blood gushes on him. I was like, oh, I think they're probably paying homage to these old silent films, which I thought was pretty cool.
I love the puppet. Yeah.
I love the punctuation of the moment when he actually stabs it, like how like swift it is, and it's like, and the blood pops out, and then yeah, I mean, obviously those ceremonies, they're really intense ceremonies. Like everybody's trying to get onto the like the snake plane, you know, like that.
Yeah, you're
plane
focused
above our existence in where you can fully realize your snakehood.
Yep.
And yeah, like it's just
Achieving snakehood is like the highest honor
Yeah.
one can achieve, you know.
it's pretty much
Basically, if you can turn into a snake and slither away to do whatever it is that you do as a snake, that's your ideal, perfect scenario.
the rest is history.
You didn't commit to that enough. Like,
I know. I'm sorry. I should have committed way harder. Fuck.
Yeah.
You really should slither away.
Oh no. I got to learn what to do with these fangs.
Let's just shed our skin of that moment.
I said fangs instead of things.
We heard.
Yeah,
we heard.
it was kind of a stretch, so I didn't comment on it. I was hoping
Yeah,
people
that
just
was
wouldn't
like-
notice.
I was gonna mention that Matt should edit that up, but that's fine.
I don't know.
Keep it raw.
It was venom to our ears.
Look, I'm
Yeah.
not trying to like
Yeah, these puns bite, Colin.
rattle my own fuck. Oh man.
All right, let's get down to it. All right, I mean, let's start with the big boy himself, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think at this point he had only done what, Hercules in New York.
This was the
That
very
was his
beginning of his
first-
career.
This is pre-Terminator.
Yep. This was his sort of launch pad, which is why I thought it was really interesting. I kept on thinking as I was watching this, I was like, okay, I'm a guy in 1982 who's going out to see some sword and sandal epic movie, and I see this dude with this thick Austrian accent, and like, what's going through my head? Am I just like, can this guy act? Pretend he's not Arnold and he doesn't have all the baggage that Arnold comes with. Am I watching this and going, wow, this is a star in the making? You know, because they definitely have, like, especially when he's pushing the wheel, they have this moment where you see him for the first time, and he's got his head down, and he's got, like, this Prince Valiant haircut, and he looks up from underneath his bangs, and, like, you see his face, and his face is, like, he's got a real face. It's, like, he's kind of handsome, but in a weirdly exaggerated kind of oblong, bony way.
Lumpy.
And, you know, his physique is obviously freakish, and I just wonder what people, seeing him for the first time, if people were like, yes, this guy's a star, because clearly he was cast because the producer who originally owned the property before he sold it to Dino De Laurentiis saw Conan in Pumping Iron, which was really a star-making role for him. It was basically a documentary.
That's the one where he says coming all the time, right?
Yes, he says coming all the time.
I feel like I'm coming all the time.
And he also says, milk is for babies. Real men drink beer. And he also says that if some young guy came in, because it's about like Lou Ferrigno coming up in the Mr. Universe pageant, and Arnold is like the king of Mr. Universe, and it's basically their competition. And he says, if somebody was going to come up to him, if a young guy in bodybuilding was going to come up to him and ask him advice and stuff, he would definitely lie to him and tell him bad advice because he doesn't want to help his competition be better. But it's funny because in spite of all that, he's Arnold and he's very personable and he's, you know, he's just very good on camera. And somebody saw that and was like, we got to get this guy in a movie.
Well, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Harris McCabe says Arnold Schwarzenegger has a real face. That's a direct quote.
Yep, eyes, nose, mouth. But so if he was in Pumping Iron, then so I don't know, like I don't know what it was like if people knew who he was going to see the movie. You know,
yeah, I don't
know.
think so. I mean, because Pumping Iron was a documentary, and I'm really not sure it's become like this really well-regarded documentary that, like, you know, is worth watching. But it's almost because it had these two epic two of the greatest bodybuilders ever sort of had key roles in it. I think it was Lou Ferrigno and Arnold. But like, I don't know if Arnold hadn't become famous, I don't know if we'd still be talking about Pumping Iron. So I don't think it was like in the public consciousness the way it is now that he's a huge, because I think once he's a huge star, that documentary gets a cachet that it didn't have before too. So,
I mean, it's obvious when you watch the movie that he has like maybe 10 lines in the whole movie and he doesn't really need to say anything at all, and the movie is made knowing that. Like, it's very clear that they're just like, yeah, we're making this movie and he doesn't really need to talk, and so it doesn't matter that he's Austrian. It just matters that he's big.
Just sit there and look
the
weird.
Muscle area.
Yeah, me and Colin actually watched this movie together yesterday, and one of the things we kept pointing out in every scene is like how Arnold wasn't speaking, like how the scenes were constructed around him not having to talk, and it worked, you know. Like they kind of did it in a good, believable way, where like even with just a look or with just a non-reaction, like he says so much.
Yeah, strong.
He says everything. Yeah, that you need to, you know, get across in the scene.
I think it is a testament to his kind of some innate acting ability, because one of the hardest things for actors to do is to react and to act without dialogue and to sort of just be in that moment and react to things. And sure, I'm sure a lot of it is the editing and the direction and kind of cutting around him. But I think it is a testament to his, you know, some kind of natural ability that he has, that he was able to sort of convey a lot through those silences.
There's like, after he says, "You killed my mother, my father, my people," which is one of my favorite lines because I just like the way he says people. He doesn't say anything again for like 25 more minutes. We were like talking about it while we were watching it. It's like he hasn't said anything since "my people," and we're like so far.
He's a presence.
Yeah.
At film school, and Harris can chime in on this, but there were, I think our first project in film schools, you had to make a 5-minute film that had no dialogue. You had to convey a story with no dialogue. And what you got was a lot of scenes where, you know, actors wouldn't be speaking, but it didn't feel right because in real life you would speak in that moment. You know, there's no reason why, like if people did the exercise wrong, you would get a lot of that. And you'd get actors like, you know, kind of like making weird faces and reactions and stuff, like, all right, just speak, you know, like, why aren't you speaking?
Right.
But I think, you know, they surpassed that in this movie. And that's what I'm saying. That's kind of what I was saying earlier, is that, you know, the scenes where Arnold doesn't talk, it doesn't feel like he should be talking.
They made it playable silently. Yeah.
I think the best is the woman who plays Valeria. Like she's doing a lot. Like she could be doing a monologue with like a mannequin, and like she's kind of making it work.
Better looking as a blonde.
She's doing a lot better here than she was in Red Sonja.
Yes, Red Sonja, she was not great.
I still liked her as a brunette with a big facial scar, though. I'll stand by that.
I mean, that's your type, though, so it's kind of...
As far as him not speaking, the movie is so... epic is a stupid word, but it's very artsy. It has a vibe, so it's like he's just sort of like...
A lot of it, it's just wide shots of them traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just the set design is usually pretty intricate and interesting.
Yeah,
you know, and
we were laughing about the after he fights the two, like the Bebop and the Rocksteady, and then he goes to Thulsa Doom. I was like, why didn't we get to see him running over there again? Because it was like
Within another 20 minutes.
There's so much running. Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, they do have a lot of scenes of people running in this.
Do you guys want to talk about the big intro scene? Not him and his dad.
Him and his dad on a green screen
raid.
backdrop.
Not that. No, the village raid when we first get like the taste. Like the soundtrack is amazing.
The soundtrack is excellent.
Basil Polidaris. I don't know if that's how you actually pronounce it.
Basil Polidaris.
It is one of the enduring things about the movie for me is the music. It's always stuck with me. It's just incredible. So in that village raid scene is kind of when you first get the taste of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know when I don't know. There's like that little weaselish guy who's on the rock, and then all the riders come over. You don't see that guy in the future either. He must have died between Arnold's childhood.
It's a tough gig,
and
right?
his adulthood.
What do you think? What do you think his interview process is like? Yes, I'm a cult leader. I go around. I take swords from villages. I kill everyone. I burn it down. What we need you to do is run out ahead. Get on a rock and crouch down. And I want you to look weaselly and creepy. We'll paint your whole body up. It'll look great. It just really helps the mood of the village raising. I'm your man.
When I see a rock, I just gotta jump on.
Based on his energy, I think it was an STD that's out, but that's just a guess.
Basil Polidaris, the composer of Starship Troopers, RoboCop,
Oh yeah.
Celtic
Oh, yeah.
Pride.
Celtic Pride?
Yeah.
That has a score?
Celtic
Free
Pride?
That has a score?
Right? It's like jock jam. I would think. I don't know.
Man. Celtic Pride, one of the great on-screen roles for Neon Deion Sanders.
Anyway, the raid at the beginning is cool.
Yeah.
No Deion Sanders.
I think the first time you hear the score is when you see the like sword being smelted or whatever that's called.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm.
in the very
that's
beginning,
pretty
the
epic.
opening shot of like the fire. Yeah, that drew me in. I was like, oh yeah,
Bump,
swords.
bump, bump,
Yeah.
bump.
Yeah, props.
Also, you see Conan and his mother witness his father battling off these knights, and they're like, you know, barbarian type guys, and they're battling these knights in full armor who are, you know, who hit his father in the back with an axe, and then they see him like torn to pieces by dogs, like in front of them. It's like though, it's one of the worst. It's almost like the guy at the end of Naked Gun, of like just like my father went the same way. You expect like the marching band to come walking over him after the dogs tear him apart.
I think the supporting cast is pretty good in this. Conan's mother in this scene, it looks like again they chose someone who had the right look and made sure that they didn't have lines. But
Do you know her name?
no, I don't.
Oh, okay, so she goes by one name. The actress, Nadiuska.
Nadiuska.
She's a German actress. I had to look her up because she's like, I mean, his mom is extremely attractive.
Right, yeah, that's what I was gonna go with.
She's
That's
so
what I was
hot.
gonna say. Is like it's weird. Like this, she's playing this intense moment really well. Where it's like, yeah, she looks like both afraid and angry and like ready to sword a guy, but she also is just kind of looking like good, and it's a little weird almost, you know?
Yeah. Well, and
I love the way.
I was going to say, then she gets her head cut off, and it's very sad because it was a good head. we were all enjoying.
That's what I was
it.
going to say. Yeah, I love the way they shoot the decapitation.
Yeah, James Earl Jones looks at her, and then he turns around like he's not going to do nothing, and then he spins around. You see the sword slice through, and then you just see it's all Conan's point of view as the head flops off, and her hand just pulls away from him as she falls. It's well done.
I like how
That is such a cool.
I like how
shot.
James Earl
Such a
Jones
cool
turns
shot.
around like a naughty boy. He's just like,
And with his kind of super short bangs, it's like it's a really
yeah.
James
It's
Earl
a great
Jones is
look for
also,
him.
James Earl Jones is also looking weirdly hot in this movie.
He's got the kind of Dita Von Teese haircut. And,
They all have that hair. I can't with that haircut. His whole crew.
Yeah, why do you have to get that? What is the tie-in with snake cults and that haircut?
And why is he always hanging out with those two guys from Spinal Tap?
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
The
It's,
Bebop and
David
Rocksteady?
St. Hubbins or
Christopher
whatever.
Guest.
Yeah.
yeah.
If snakes had hair, they would cut their hair like this.
Colin, I'm about to get to your favorite part when he punches the camel.
Yeah.
Oh, that's everyone's favorite part. That's the best part of this entire movie.
We pointed out there's like a ton of instances of like violence towards animals in this movie that would just like never fly today.
Dude, the horses in the climax.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
it was insane. It was rolling down the hill near where the woman is shackled up, and I'm like, okay, it's got to be a fake horse. And then it gets up and runs away.
And you're
All
like,
those,
well,
like-
I wrote
guess
down in my
it
note-
survived.
I wrote horse pile driver. I think that's when his sidekick grabs a fucking soldier off the horse, and the thing just goes like head first.
Well, I mean, they used to, the old Hollywood trick was whenever they had somebody shot or the horse got shot and the guy would fall off the horse, they would just pull up a tripwire in front of the horses, and they would literally just trip the horses.
Jesus.
And the horses would go falling face first in the ground, and they'd be like, well, I hope the horse doesn't die, but if it does, that's the cost of making a movie.
They also started at some point trying to train horses like how to flop, but it would still involve like the horses harming themselves, Like,
Right.
That's what it said on, because I looked it up. I'm like, how many fucking horses died? More in this or HBO's Luck? But they said that these were stunt horses, and he said, John Milius said they were having fun, which can't be confirmed by a horse.
Yeah, the horse rolling down the hill didn't look like he was having a great time, but
But hey, maybe they got some like extra apples or whatever horses eat.
The horse union says nay.
yeah. See, Colin, when it works, it's so good.
Yeah,
I just like imagining a horse union boss. Let's see a movie about that.
I'm picturing like a Mr. Ed style documentary, like behind the scenes of this movie, where they interview the horses and they just like reverse and play forward like a clip of the horse opening its mouth, and they, someone's voice saying like, "Oh, we had so much fun."
The horse is chewing peanut butter, and they're like, "It was a great
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
No horses were harmed."
I just recently watched season 2 of The Wire, and it has a whole plot line about the union boss of like the dock workers, and like just that, but like with stunt horses and a horse.
Yeah. Well, how many?
see you in
first
court,
of all,
Milius.
season 2 of The Wire is the best season of The Wire, and I'll fight anybody who says otherwise. I love it so much, mostly because
really
Frank
good.
Sabatka,
That's a hot
the
take.
actor, that guy is not good in anything else, and he is so good in that. He is so good as Frank Sabatka.
I had a really good time
wonder,
in season 2. I love that, just the name Frank Sabatka. Like I
Yeah.
think they wrote that whole scene where he's like, "Oh, Frank Sabatka," and then the other guy knows who it is for no reason or whatever, and then like
and his screw up
They
son
just love
Ziggy
saying
and his
it.
not so screw up nephew.
Oh my God.
It's
Ziggy
so good.
Is the worst. Ziggy's
Ziggy
one
is
of the
the
worst
worst.
characters I've ever seen in television. Like,
Yes.
he's just so hateable. Just
Everyone
constantly
watch
pulling
the
his
second
dick
season of
out.
The Wire. It's great.
Oh, Tim, you've seen that.
Ziggy's in a lot of shit. Yeah, of course. That's a hot take by Harris.
What the Frank?
It is. I
Sabaka's
mean,
good?
it's not as hot as like saying the
don't-
5th season is the best, but it is definitely a hottish take.
Yeah, that would be.
I
a
mean,
little
I've never
spicier.
watched The
That's like-
Wire, and I don't know much about it, but I know that the season 2 is the worst.
All right.
So this sounds
No,
like a
5
hot
is
take to
on
me.
the Thai menu. On the Thai menu, saying season 5 is the best would be like all the
Yeah.
next to the dick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, season 5 would be the worst, except that it wraps up the whole series really well, which is why I think
Matt,
it gets kind of
so-
a pass. But
They're all
They-
good.
they
anyway.
are
It's
all
about
good.
is like a big
Stop
like,
making me choose.
detective. It's about like a
Yeah, I
it's
don't
about
wanna-
a big detective made out of wires, and they're like, "Oh, wire, what did you get us into this time?" And he's like,
yeah, it's a wacky like it's basically RoboCop if it was a comedy, where the detective is like all exposed wires.
He's got a great catchphrase.
I'm
like,
intrigued.
Don't get me coiled. It's wonderful.
Like C-3PO from episode 1.
Yeah, sometimes he
remember
pretends
that.
like he's short circuiting and he says short circuit just to get out of bad meetings.
Malfunction.
Yep.
Oh, to get back on Conan, Colin was texting me some of the pit fight noises Arnold was making last night.
They're definitely his sex sounds. They're absolutely 100% his sex sounds.
the combo of the noises and like the obvious ADR, it was killing me, man.
Also, the fact that none of the pit fighting looks that bad because it's mostly hugging. Like everyone, like once he gets like the elbow spikes and he starts elbow spiking people, it looks a little worse. Yeah. But like that first fight is basically the guy runs over and hugs him and starts kissing his neck, and he just flails his arms and leans up against the wall and goes.
And he just I like how he gets the upgrades. It's like an RPG.
Yeah.
He's slowly earning all this
like the
armor.
first fight he ever fights, he doesn't actually seem to realize that it's a fight.
Yeah,
and then
he always
every
does the same
subsequent
move.
one.
In the
By
beginning,
the way,
you make a T pose. In the end, you cross your arms.
I don't know if anybody else is paying attention to this. Damian Lillard, Portland keeps on going down by like 8 points, and then Damian Lillard just keeps on hitting 30-foot threes. Just
that's why he's
keep
Dame
thinking it's
time.
over.
I mean, the game should be over. It should have been a victory. They should have lost in regulation. I know this is totally separating from the podcast or whatever. And believe me, I'm cheering for the Nuggets, and I feel like they should. It would be great with Jamal Murray injured for them to at least get out of the first fucking round. But at the same time, Jesus, Damian Lillard.
Hey Harris, if we're both watching on illegal streams, it probably is. Over
It probably
now.
is. I don't want to know though.
Like 5 minutes behind.
Oh man.
Yeah. On to more movie. So what was
I
the
don't
which?
know. I think we could develop an interesting team up with Frank Sabatka and Damian Lillard.
Is that going to be the new movie? Is like Damian Lillard?
Frank Sabatka, Damian Lillard, a horse union boss. What more do you need? Give me in a room with a studio boss.
Sorry, I had to look up the guy's name. His name is Chris Bauer, the actor who plays Frank Sabatka. And the only other thing that I've seen him in that he was in True Blood, and it's kind of hard to tell if actors are good or bad in True Blood because it's so over the top and stupid. But the only other thing I've seen him in that he was really impressive in is Zodiac, which had a lot of.
Who is he in Zodiac?
He's I can't remember. I think he might be one of the cops. But I just remember him being good in that. The best guy in Zodiac is the guy who plays. I think you're
thinking of the Hulk. I think you're thinking of Mark Ruffalo.
No, I'm not thinking of Mark Ruffalo. I'm also not thinking of the guy who plays Norm in Fargo. Norm Gunderson.
That's the guy. That's the killer in Zodiac.
That's the guy who seems like the killer in Zodiac. Yeah, he's really good in Zodiac, and it's such a different part.
Oh, that
he's
guy.
in everything.
It's such
too.
a different part than Fargo.
I love that guy. I can't.
He's in The Invitation, a movie I saw with Tim.
Yeah, he's got three names, right?
Yeah,
he's got three names.
Let's look up. Let's
John
look this guy up.
David Lynch, something like that.
It's not David Lynch, but it is a it's
no,
David
it
something.
It is though. It is.
It's
really
John
is.
David
John
Lynch.
Carroll.
John Carroll.
That's it.
That's it.
John Carroll. Yeah.
Yes.
I love that guy. Yeah, we did see the Invitation.
He's good in
at
that. I like the
Yeah, Lamelay.
Probably
saw it at Lamelay.
Yeah, right.
Wait,
hey,
is that how you pronounce that?
Lamley, I don't know. Let's not get into that. I'm going to embarrass me. I don't know.
We had that exact conversation. I was like, so is that how you pronounce it? And Tim's like, I don't know.
And you guys didn't agree on a
like,
pronunciation?
Don't ask me. He's like, don't
Are you talking
ask
about the
me.
movie theater?
Yes.
The movie theater.
I think it's pronounced Lemley.
Yeah, I thought it was
Lemley.
Lemley too.
That's what I
I thought it was Lemley too, but I didn't want to say it because that seems like a...
Rewind it. That's what I said.
Well, I get all my yoga stuff at Lululemon.
Well, this guy Chris Bauer, he's from True Blood. That's what I know him from.
We're so far away from Conan the Barbarian.
As I said, he's from True Blood, but I was saying it's hard to tell. True Blood is such a goofy soap opera that it's hard to tell if people are bad actors in that or if they're just acting bad because it's so melodramatic.
Right.
Can I interject?
Oh, he's from
with...
Face Off. He's Dubov.
Yeah, he's the guy who's getting
Oh
his
my
brain
God!
fried.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Actually,
that's
I
it.
should retract my statement. It's not that he
I didn't
he was
sleep
good in
with
that
your
too.
sister.
He's good in a lot of things, but he's never better than Frank
And I didn't
Sabatka.
touch your wife. But if you want to get out of here, I forgot the speech, man. But yes, how did I not know that was Dubov?
We're back in Erewhon prison again somehow.
he had a sex sandwich with his wife and his sister the night he was
Oh my
sent
god! And of
here.
course they miss a free throw that gives Damian Lillard a chance to tie it. And he does. Insane. They missed a free throw, and then Lillard goes back and ties it. This is so stupid. I can't even believe this. And now Austin Rivers is like, it's Austin time, and he bricks it. Of course he does.
Man, overtime.
Come on, Austin.
When I was on for Lethal Weapon 4, I polled you guys on the 4 best fatalities, so I want to do that again with this movie because obviously there's a lot of them. So I'm going to give you the nominees.
All
I
right,
might have
good.
5. I wrote down a whole bunch. The first one, Harris already mentioned it, obviously. The father gets axed in the back and then mauled by 2 armored Rottweilers.
Yeah, I forgot they had armor.
It's classic. In front of his family, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, in front. Just stop. Yeah.
Are we strictly talking human fatalities here? Because I think the snake's death.
The snake is pretty
gnarly.
good.
That is a good one. I didn't have that.
Well, we'll go
but
by
we
Tim's
can-
rules.
We can
All right,
Human
what's
only.
number 2?
We can lump it in. The Midsommar suicide rock jump where
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
but
Flesh
Tulsa
is
dude
stronger.
just like, hey, get down here.
Fast.
And just jumps.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
don't take the stairs.
This is random, but there's an orgy guard that Valeria just like, I don't know, the guy's like bending over to tie his shoe or something. And she just chops his head off.
Yes.
It's a great like
I saw that.
like
It's
prop
the fir-
head.
yeah, I think it's the
decapitation.
first legit beheading in the movie. It's the first one that I was like, oh damn, they're doing some good kills now.
Colin and I spotted a guy they're in like a cave or something, and he runs and like dives over Valeria, and she just like jumps up and slices him, and Colin's like, what was his plan there?
He like dived in such a way that was like, I'm gonna dive at her and expose my middle
Yeah.
to her sword.
This is very much like we said during Red Sonja. There is a lot of guys whose attack strategy is to hold their sword way over their head and attack belly first, which is like just not a great it's not a great strategy, not a great plan.
It's the guard of the Falcon.
Yes.
The rock trap impalement of
That's the best.
Yeah.
the dude with the like really bad hair.
Christopher Guest, yeah.
Yes, Christopher Guest, yes. David St. Hubbins.
Dude, okay, so I was telling Colin, I don't want to detract from my nominees here, but I was telling Colin that guy's look like always annoyed me. I'm like, this guy's so punchable. I hope Arnold chops him real good. But he's like my favorite part in Gladiator when he fights the ringer. Like the retired gladiator with the tigers. That's that guy. I had no fucking
is it?
idea.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Like-
it's the same guy.
Yeah, that guy was like Mr. Denmark. He was like also a bodybuilder. I think him and Arnold were probably
That's
boys.
not Franco Columbo, right?
No, but he
No,
is
his
in
name
this
is-
Yeah,
movie
Franco
somewhere. I
Columbo's
don't
in
know
this
where.
movie somewhere.
His name's like Sven Ollie Thornson.
Yeah.
Wow.
Something
Nice.
like that. Anyway, because I Googled him and I saw that he was that guy from Gladiator. Anyway, let's move on. I wanted to put the sex switch in just because it was so funny. Arnold like just banging her brains out and then tossing her in the fireplace. But she flies away as a specter, still alive.
Yeah, that's not a death.
And then yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I got 2 more. The first guy to die in the climax battle, where Arnold hits him with the axe, and they like half their blood budget just blows out of his
Yes.
chest. You know, and then I had the 3 chop decapitation of Thulsa
Yeah.
Doom.
Yeah, it seems like
Which is just-
Valeria is the only one who decapitated someone clean in the whole movie.
It
Yeah,
was
she's the only
very
one who believes in sharpening her sword. Everyone else is like, yeah, you can kind of. I just prefer my way to bash through their body.
Well, Conan's mom gets a clean cut, too.
That's
Oh, that's right.
She
that's
does.
Right.
I think just for the way that it was shot, I mean that could be in there too. But we already dissected it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to.
Well, my vote is definitely for the guy who gets a spike in his chest, only because of his reaction to that is great. Like he just kind of looks down, and he's like, "Oh shit, now I'm really fucked." Like he knows he's dead, but he's not dead yet.
It's almost like he was trying to get out of it. He's like, I can make it.
Yeah, if I could just get this out of my chest.
I kind of want to vote for the one that you didn't say, the one where the guy just jumps at her for no reason, like in the wide.
All right, hey man, add your own. I just wanted to talk about the.
It's so hilarious. Like she's already running out of the temple. It's in a wide shot, so you can see she has plenty of room to like run in any direction, and the guy just runs right at her and like.
Well, it's
from
also funny
above,
because she's
spreads
like
out in the air.
She's surrounded, right? And she's got 2 temple guards blocking the exit, and then she's got 2 guys chasing her. And instead of all converging on her, they like let her take them out one at a time.
This was before that. This is like when she's still just kind of running free in the temple, and a guy just comes
I also
at her
thought
and
it
he's
was like
yeah.
I get they're trying to get the princess out, but I also thought it was like not great that they were just like, all right, hope you make it out, honey. See you later.
Hey man, the snake cult got the last laugh. You know, they took
did.
Valeria
They did.
out.
Well, it was her own fault for making promises to the god that resurrected him, which wasn't.
So
Wasn't
Colin,
Where Crom didn't really do much.
Crom!
It's a polytheistic worldview.
Crom, give me my revenge, or if not, what does he say? Like, screw you.
To hell with you.
To hell with you.
When I hear Crom, I think of the guy from Harry Potter, the Russian.
Oh yeah, the Quidditch star.
Yeah, the Russian Quidditch
I
star.
wonder if he's
Like, I've
named after
seen that,
the
like-
Conan god.
I thought that guy was Crumb.
Dude, that's apt. Yeah, it is
Oh, okay.
Crumb, but you know the way Arnold says
Crumb.
it, Crumb. So Colin is nominating and voting for a write-in candidate, the leaping guy.
All right, Matt, who you got? Who's the best
Matt,
fatality?
who do you got?
I mean, I think I have to say chest impalement guy. That's like, not only is it the coolest death, but just like the way the scene is structured, how he like hits the helmet, thinks he killed a guy, and he's like, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
And then we see like, you know, all the bells and whistles like detach and a rope flies up, and then the thing comes around. We see it, the audience, but he's just turning around and whack, he just gets it right in the chest, and it's like,
It's satisfying.
It's really satisfying.
I'm with you. That's the winner. It's very Apocalypto too, because that's how they take out.
I love Apocalypse.
the big boss in that movie. The guy who looks vaguely like Vince McMahon. They hit him with the same trap.
Vince McMahon.
Next time you watch that, I'm telling you,
Okay.
man, the guy looks like.
I mean, I
looks
I
like
watch Apocalypto every Christmas with the family because that's the holiday tradition, obviously.
Well, yeah, hey, your dad. You're telling me your dad doesn't like Apocalypto?
I'm sure he does. I don't know if he's ever seen it, but I'm sure like the amount of bloodshed and just Mel Gibson being involved is has got to appeal to him on multiple levels.
So this movie is further proof that Max von Sydow has been old forever.
Right.
He just has always been old. He just always looks like that.
Well, he was playing an older person in
Exorcist.
The Exorcist earlier than this, right? So it
Yeah.
only makes sense. This is probably closer to his real age than his Exorcist role was.
Do you think he's a Benjamin Button? Like he ages backwards?
No, only because I saw him in Minority Report, and he's definitely not. he's
yeah.
aging forward. He's just. I think he got old really quick. He's more like a Jack, like the Robin Williams, Francis Ford Coppola movie where he.
I know the
aging
movie.
rapidly.
Gets really
I know
old
what
really
movie you're
early.
talking
Yeah,
about.
I just felt
That
like
would
we
be a
needed
great
clarification.
Patreon movie, by the way.
Nick, just in case any of you are paying attention, Nikola Jokic just threw one of the greatest cross-court passes ever for a 3 to put him up 3.
Oh, you're ahead of me. You're ahead of me. I
It
just
doesn't
saw
really
that.
matter because Damian Lillard will, I'm sure, tie it up again the next opportunity.
Do you think anyone would argue that Jack is better than The Godfather when it comes to Francis Ford Coppola?
I mean, I'm sure somebody it depends on how you feel about Robin Williams.
I'm gonna look on Reddit
Does
when
it?
we're done.
Like, are you able to like Robin Williams enough for that?
I don't know. Like who plays his mom in that? Penelope Ann Miller? I can't remember who it is, but I feel like
Yes.
if you like those actors enough.
Wait, is Jennifer Lopez in that?
I don't think so.
No.
Jennifer Lopez? I think she's in Jack, right?
Oh, she should.
No.
She certainly is. She's Miss Marquez, his teacher.
Yeah, that's
my
right.
bad.
Wow.
Oh, Diane
Yeah,
Lane
she
is his
is,
mother.
yeah.
Diane Lane. So
right.
if you're also Bill Cosby is in that apparently. I don't even remember that.
Oh, that's
Fran
not helping
Drescher. It's
Fran
literally
Drescher.
it is a Michael
Fuck
McKean.
the Godfather, Fran Drescher.
Yeah,
Ooh,
it's a
if McKean's in it,
murderer's
it's
row.
gotta
This is
be
an
good.
all-star cast.
Well, if you're young, if you were like 10 years old and Jack came out, you're like, oh, this is like a serious movie. This is sad, and I'm gonna go see it. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure it sucks. If McKean's in it, though, I mean, it's got to have some redeeming
I saw
quality.
Jack in the theaters.
I think
A
I
man
did
can
too.
do no wrong. Yeah, I did too.
I saw it in the theater too. We all saw it in the
Wow.
theater. That is
Yeah,
100% a Patreon.
It's no wonder it's
coverage
considered
episode.
one of the greatest movies ever.
I definitely
You got the last laugh.
I definitely thought it was gonna be a funny movie, and it just was not.
I feel like a lot of
Godfather
people
2,
thought
Jack, Godfather 1.
That's the order.
I think it's safe to say that between Jack and Dracula, Coppola really hit his stride in the 90s,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
So true.
I kind of think it's a shame that we wasted our bonus movie for Conan on Red Sonja when we should have been doing Jack, clearly.
for sure.
Damn.
I mean, we still
Oh,
have
you
time.
guys did Red Sonja. I've never seen it.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
I've never seen it.
It was fun to talk
So
about.
sad.
Can we talk about the orgy real quick?
Yeah.
We
Is
have
it
a
because you've always
yeah,
wanted
okay.
to eat hand soup?
I can't believe it's
No,
taken us this long.
So the Amazon thing, like occasionally I would move the mouse so I could see what they had for trivia or whatever, and it said John Milius was like really into
Orgies?
I don't know, Roman culture or something. So he was telling everyone how to act properly during the orgy.
Like
But
in proper
they have,
Roman
like-
fashion?
I swear.
He later went on to make the show Rome on HBO.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly.
Yep.
The full overhead lighting in this orgy. They had
Yeah.
a man turning into a snake.
Yep.
The drapes are on fire. A guy's mixing up fucking Nickelodeon slime. in the vat.
Yeah, with a hand in it, and the lady licks the hand
this
when he
is
pours
such
it
a-
into the cup.
This was
She
such an
bites it.
insane
She bites
orgy.
a finger off.
I had most problems with the lighting. I'm just like, this
Yeah,
is
no,
just
you're
right,
right.
for an
Yes,
orgy.
no, no,
Not
you
orgy
just
light.
absolutely no.
Yeah, it should have been
Not orgy
candlelit.
Yeah, or like throw some like scarves over the lamps or something. You definitely
Yeah,
you don't want full
yeah,
light
something.
is what he's saying for orgies.
Searing
Yeah, I mean,
light.
and these are all
Got
attractive.
to see the boobies.
These are all attractive people, but it's just going to look better if the light's a little dimmer.
I don't think they were all
Yeah.
attractive though, because a bunch of goons with like
Oh,
blood
yeah.
packs taped to their stomachs were in there like immediately.
That's true. There were a lot of goons. This is a goon-heavy orgy.
I think the thing is, like, if you weren't allowed in the sex, you had to wear one of those Texas Chainsaw
Right.
masks, like the guys stirring
Yeah.
the soup.
Yeah.
You know, that's how they
That's how they knew.
differentiate.
Also,
Yeah.
like, it was pretty clear he didn't have to like dump the soup all over, but that shot is so good.
That is
He's like,
good.
I've been killed, and no one will enjoy my soup.
I love Thulsa Doom turning into a snake, though. I don't know why.
Me
It's
too.
like a weird kind of looking effect, especially for now. You know, like it wouldn't be done the same way at all. It's like,
It's that like American Werewolf in London rubber face that's like stretching slowly, you
Yeah.
know, and then
it's
they
like-
cut away, and when they cut back, it's like a little. It's definitely a different prop or whatever, you know.
Is he getting some sexual pleasure out of the morphing?
I think
I
so.
mean, I was.
I
It's
actually,
just like-
honestly, I'm gonna say it. I hope he is. I hope he is.
Otherwise, there's no point. Why do it?
Yeah, why? Do
And his exit is so slow. It's not like he's going faster.
Where's he going?
He's just slowly going through that hole while Arnold's killing everyone.
But where's he going?
Yeah, like what was he off to? What snake stuff
Maybe
was he going
there's-
to do?
Maybe there's snake snacks on the other side of the wall.
Yeah,
But
a bunch of little
he's
rats.
got to turn into a snake to eat them?
I love. There's also the princess. When he slithers out and like all the shots of her, she's really into him turning into a snake, but then she's really disappointed that he's not sticking around. I think she was gonna fuck him as a snake.
I think she was going to fuck the snake too. Yeah, I assumed that
dude,
was. I thought that that's
100%.
where the whole scene was going. I thought that was what they were building to.
100%.
I love your react. 100%.
Dude, the way that tongue was flicking in and out of that
It made
puppet.
perfect sense. It actually made less sense for her not to fuck him as a snake. I thought that the whole point of that scene was he turns into a snake to fuck this lady.
Yeah, right. And Arnold
In
just
my
cock
human
blocking.
form, I have no penis.
But as a snake,
Massive dong.
I can impregnate you
He's
with
good in
my
that. He's good in this movie.
snake dick.
Yeah. James Earl Jones.
I'm glad we're
is
appreciating
good
him
in everything.
this
He's so
I like when Arnold's like, "You killed my family," and he's like, "I must have been young then."
That was just a Tuesday for me.
yeah.
My wild college days.
That really is what it is, though. That was
Pillaging.
that the speech he gives is that was just a Tuesday for me, but it was the day that changed your whole life. That's totally his speech there. Just a different version of that.
I know we already said it, but when he points at the woman, he's like, "You come here." He just jump.
Yeah.
That was
Because
brutal.
I would, if I was that woman who is up like 50 feet in the air, I would have been like, so straight down or stairs? Like, I just would have clarified before I jumped right off. I just would have been like, listen, I'm dedicated, and I don't want anybody to question my dedication and get all up my ass about this, because I know you people are all about proving yourselves and everything. I just want to clarify, am I jumping to my death, or do you want me to go down to you, just for both of us?
No, she doesn't do that. She doesn't
No.
say anything. She
Nope.
does unquestionably get down, but instead of doing it the way she does it like she's getting into a pool that's too cold.
Yeah.
So she's doing a lot of scooching her butt cheeks onto the edge, but
Yeah.
not quite going over, and like pointing her toe downwards and leaning on one butt cheek.
I think it would have been funny if, after she jumped off, he was like, "Oh, damn! I just wanted to come down and show something to you, but I guess that'll
the
do."
hell?
Yeah, and I like that she jumps into
I
the
was ready
floor, which
for-
is obviously some kind of cushion that breaks her fall. But in order to make it play, it's like they've constructed this this wooden riser that she has crashed through, so they can show her.
Dude, I was
They
just
can both show her land and also explain why she crashed through it's not just a flat rock. It is not the Midsommar flat rock surface where you just see the guts spring out, as she hits.
I was just about to say I was ready for a big blood pack, Martin Sheen in Departed.
Yeah.
But yeah, she hits those. She hits the loose rock and goes through a
Now,
skylight.
I didn't
or
see the
something.
Conan remake, but I would think that the one thing I would do if I was remaking Conan the Barbarian is there would just be
More
dismembered
snake penis.
body.
More snake penis.
Well, yes, the snake penis I assume goes without saying, but I would also have dismembered body parts and just gallons and gallons of blood everywhere at all times.
But it's PG-13, right? I mean, I'm with you. That's the way to do it.
This
Mel
movie has to be
Gibson,
rated
get-
R. There's
get him
4
the
sets
job.
of tits in this movie.
But the remake,
No, this
though,
one,
I'm just
I mean,
saying,
I'm
like,
talking
if
about the
they're-
remake.
If I was doing the remake, I would be guts everywhere, just people's intestines flying out and just people getting their heads chopped off, and ridiculous, somebody gets their heads chopped off and geysers of blood just start spraying out of the, that's the level of blood that I'm looking for in my Conan movie.
I want to go back.
Is that The Rock or
I
Jason
think it's
Momoa?
Momoa.
It's
Sorry,
Jason
Colin.
Momoa. I want to go back to the Thulsa Doom's wooden deck that the woman falls through. It's very much like the deck that comes in the flyer for Home Depot, the picture.
Yeah, yep.
It's
It's thin slats.
It's why did he build that kind of deck?
On
Did
what
he
is
go to the medieval Home Depot? Yes, hello. I'd like some assistance in the lumber department. I'm building a deck for my cult. We like snakes.
there is a
Can
chance.
you build massive snake holes in the deck?
There is a chance
No
that
reason.
someone may plummet to their death onto the deck. I would like the deck to retain its shape if possible. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. It's wood, so it's probably going to break if somebody plummets to their death on it. Very well.
Where's the min wax?
I am your father. What was that, sir?
I do feel like
This is a Home
there's
Depot.
also the rock underneath the deck seems pretty flat. So is the deck even necessary? I don't know.
It's just he's. I was wrong about the remake. It's IMDb says it is rated R.
Oh.
Then it should have a lot of guts in it.
I watched it and it sucked.
Yeah.
I can't remember anything about it, and I just didn't like it.
Right, that's what I figured. It seemed very forgettable. One of those.
It's a Brett Ratner joint, is it not?
Well,
Oh, I don't think so.
that might have been their first mistake.
That might be the Hercules.
Oh,
one
that's
you're
probably what
Oh,
I'm thinking
yeah,
of,
right.
Yeah.
Director Marcus Nispel.
Oh, terrible.
Stars Jason Momoa, Ron Perlman, and Rose McGowan. She hasn't.
I would have totally thought
Rose
that was
McGowan.
a good cast.
I think Marcus Nispel is the guy who did the Friday the 13th reboot as well.
There was a
Check
Friday.
that
Wait, I don't
factoid.
even remember the Friday the 13th reboot.
Exactly.
With Fast
No one
Jason.
does.
Yeah.
So
Fast Jason, yeah, I think.
I don't remember it, but I remember the date. Yeah.
It was just another Friday for me.
It was just another Friday for me.
You had that joke locked and cocked anytime someone mentions that shit.
Oh, terrible.
How many times have you said that?
I don't know. Too many.
Yeah.
Should we talk about the wizard that narrates this tale?
He's good. He's like one of my favorite things.
His name's
Good
Mako.
narrator.
It's so rare in a movie that you get the narrator and then you meet him later in the movie. And then in this movie, you get the narrator and you meet him so much later in the movie. Like it's a very rare storytelling device.
Trope.
And yeah, I like it.
Just as a side note, I'm sorry, I just turned to the Lakers game, and they are getting their doors blown off by the Suns, which I did not see coming, even with Anthony Davis out. Sorry, I know this is not a basketball podcast. I'm just, and now I can
You're
officially
gonna edit this episode because all this basketball
be
shit
so
will be obsolete in 2 weeks. So it all has to
in
go.
I'm
2
just saying,
days.
this
is-
2 days.
This is real shit that's going on. Anyways, Mako, famous Japanese actor. A Japanese American actor who he was in like the Sand Pebbles, which was a Steve McQueen, Richard Crenna vehicle.
Richard Crenna.
Then he was in some random
Rambo, right?
Richard Crenna from Rambo.
I like to go to a nice restaurant and get like a nice pasta sauce with a rich crema in it.
It was just another Olive Garden for me.
They're putting in an Olive Garden right next to my house. I'm so stoked. I'm gonna go in there and just go ham
we had
on
this
some
whole
breadsticks.
conversation yesterday. We don't need to rehash our Olive Garden conversation.
I'll have the never-ending pasta bowl, please.
Oh my god! I want to go to Olive Garden as James Earl Jones.
Well, that's a good way to get canceled, Colin.
Yeah, exactly. Be careful with that, buddy.
I'm not gonna do black.
Anyways, well, I don't know how you're going to be convincing James Earl Jones without it. So
When the bill comes, you just turn into a snake.
go into the snake hole to avoid the bill. Mako was in this. He's also in Conan the Destroyer, and he's pretty good in this. He's a fun character and kind of manic. And also, I feel like the biggest cop-out in this entire movie, I don't care what their budget was that, like, he clearly has to paint some runes all over Conan's entire body, but they cover him with a shroud, so he only has to do the hands and the face. And I kind of think it would be cool for Arnold to be totally covered in, like, before they put the shroud on him. It would have been awesome for him to be totally covered in that.
It would, and you don't even need
Yeah,
a budget.
exactly.
Get
That's
a
just fucking
Sharpie.
magic markers, guys. You just get some Sharpies
Yeah.
and do them up and
My
try to draw
Guaranteed
2D
it was like
penises.
Arnold didn't want it.
Yeah.
This is taking too long.
Tired.
Get the shroud.
Tired of the coloring. I don't want you. I'm not a coloring book.
Not a paint by numbers.
I mean, at this point in his career, I don't think he can make those demands.
Yeah.
Right.
I think John Milius would have
That's
just
true.
been like, sit down and take it.
Milius like cocks his shotgun.
Yeah, exactly.
Doing it, Ernie.
He's like, yeah, you're going to get this coloring book all over you. We're getting you with
carries
magic
a
markers.
Lay still.
Carries a loaded shotgun on set.
I think he might have. Every shot I've seen of
They're
him on
shooting
set,
in the middle of the
he's wearing
plains.
a beret, like a military-style beret with some kind of badge on front, and it's like this medieval set. And he's always wearing like he's kind of like he's a kind of a heavy set guy, but he's always wearing these tight black T-shirts and military berets, and walking around like he's like part of like the like some kind of what are the guys in New
Green
York?
Beret?
No, the guys in New York City who in the 70s who were like the Guardian Angels. He's like
Oh,
a
right.
Oh my god, yeah, I know
like
exactly.
he's like a militant militant director on set of this sword and sorcery thing where everyone else is wearing legit like period costumes and he's dressed in the most inappropriate militaristic garb, which is kind of funny. I'm all
The
for
costumes?
I'm all for
are
people
really
having for people in their real life having costumes. I think that's like wardrobe is important. Don't overthink it. Just, have a wardrobe and stick to it.
Says the guy who wears
I
like a
agree,
black
Colin.
button-down shirt
Yes.
every day. Right?
But you know, you can't cast the first stone. You wear shorts and a tank top every time I see you. Like, you never are
true.
not wearing shorts and a tank top.
If it's mildly warm outside,
Yeah.
that's it. The shorts are coming out.
Once it goes past 54 degrees, Matt is sweating.
I run extremely
You're right,
hot.
Colin.
Okay?
The costumes are really good. A lot of the sets are really good. I mean, the orgy set is awesome. I love the church or whatever you call it. I don't
The
know.
temple?
The temple.
The
At
mountain?
at the end. You have
Oh
the
yeah,
steps.
the steps. Yep.
Yeah, that is a great set with all the torches at the end
Right.
too when they go back at night.
Let's talk about
That's fair.
let's talk about something Red Sonja did not do well, and a lot of movies this period don't do well. Effects. There aren't a lot of them in this. Most of them are practical. There's the puppet snake. There's a lot of the blood.
The biggest
But-
one is the red ghosts.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
And that's
How do we
they
feel
literally
about
like
that?
just painted them on. Like, and I actually think it looks kind of good.
I surprisingly agree with Colin. It doesn't happen often, but
Yes.
I kind of was into the red ghosts. I was when I first saw them, I was like, "Oh, it's so cheesy," but they hand animated ghosts that kind of interact with the actors, and they look kind of effective. They work. They work in a stylized
Yeah, they were
way.
spooky.
It's not great, but it's like much better than you'd expect from this, because usually it's cheesy and shitty.
It kind of was giving
Yeah.
me Ghost vibes, like the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze.
Oh
Do you
yeah, the
remember when
little
those,
the
like,
little
hell-
shadow
the hell
demons that come
demons?
and
Yeah.
drag people off.
Yeah.
Yeah, those
Those are
really
really
fucked me
similar.
up when I was younger, because I thought that
Me
like
too.
yeah, that was scary shit. Yeah, they got that element to them. If they had actually done them in black somehow, because the background is black, so they really couldn't. But that would have been
Yeah.
really effective. But like I thought they worked in red.
When I watch something of the era like this, like I'm so forgiving of that stuff, you know, because
Yeah,
I don't know, something about it is just I don't know, maybe it's because I grew up with movies that use stuff like that. I mean, I just saw Ghosts like probably 6 months ago for the first time, so not that
Wow.
obviously, but maybe Ghostbusters. You know, I feel like anytime there was lightning in the movie,
oh yeah, it was always like
they
hand
would do
animated
effects like
lightning,
that. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I'm like, am I more forgiving because of nostalgia or just because
Well, but at the same time,
it's so fake that it doesn't fuck with my eyes like
yeah,
bad
at
CGI.
the same
or
time,
something.
some of them do it really poorly, and I see this the same thing with CGI, like early, like late '90s, early 2000s CGI. There's always those ones who
Yeah.
knew how
Oh,
to
yeah,
use it
yeah.
to like complement what they were doing practically, and there's those ones who thought that they could do way more with it, or just didn't have the budget to do it as much as they wanted to, and it ages poor. Like there's at every stage of technology, there's like a good way to use it and a bad way to use it. And I think
Yeah,
this
yeah.
actually used it pretty effectively. And I'm sure it wasn't easy to hand animate all those things, but they did it right, you know?
I can't believe you just now saw Ghosts. That's crazy.
I loved it too. I loved it. I
I-
thought it was so.
I saw that
entertaining.
when I was really young, and
It was
what
so
I
good.
remember is like I was like before puberty, like fully before puberty. Did not know what sex was, but like when they do that clay thing, I was like, something's happening. Something's happening here.
Well, I saw that Naked Gun. I saw
Yeah,
that
yeah,
Naked
exactly.
Gun
Now you know
before I
now you
saw
know
it.
what all those jokes, what all those parody jokes
Yeah.
mean. So
Oh man.
I didn't realize it was such a Whoopi Goldberg
oh
movie.
yeah,
Oh,
she's
yeah.
great in it.
You know,
She got the
was
Oscar.
So
It's a great
good.
She got an Oscar for
That's,
that.
yeah, I
Yeah,
did not
she
know
is-
that. I didn't know that until after.
And this is we've said this so many times in this podcast. Whoopi Goldberg should just be in more shit, doing more things.
Yeah.
She is
I'm
always
on
good.
board.
What's
Now
her
I'm
name
on
in Star
board,
Trek?
totally.
Guinan.
Yeah,
Guinan.
Guinan.
I mean, somebody else knows. Damn it.
Wait,
Yeah, Vaginen.
Harris, when you were mentioning like the late night, I'm such a Blade head, dude. I
Yeah.
love Blade, but when you're saying like they're overstepping their bounds with CGI, that's what
Yeah,
jumped in
especially
my
like the
head.
blood effects at the end of Blade in the final
The
fight.
end, yeah.
Because they had done
The
so
end.
great until,
Dude,
until
totally.
that point. They had not overstepped. And then
Right,
you try to create
exactly.
a blood creature, and it's like, whoa, guys, stop. Just
Yeah, they're
don't.
going crazy.
like,
Oh
we're
yeah,
not
the
there
blood
yet.
monster, Lamagra.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, and the skeletons like crawling out of the people. Oh, it's
Remember
bad.
when
dude.
Tim, when I used to live with you and I was get a eggplant parmesan sandwich and you always called it a Lamagra sandwich. Hey, what you got there, Lamagra sandwich? And I'm like, yeah.
Oh, Tim, why can't you ever bring anything that funny to this podcast?
Oh my
that's
god!
great.
Yeah, it's more natural when the mic's not around.
Yeah. No, I saw Blade when I was like, or not Blade. I saw Ghost when I was like, I think I was like 12 or 13 or something like that. And it immediately took like I was at that age where like I was allowed to watch grown-up movies. So every grown-up movie I watched, like Aliens or Ghost or, A Few Good Men, or like I'm trying to think of other ones, but they immediately became my favorite movie. Like just whatever grown-up movie that like didn't insult my intelligence that I watched it was like, oh, this is my new favorite movie, The Untouchables. Like I watched a bunch of movies right in that range of a couple of years where every time I watched one I was like, oh my god, people make really good thoughtful movies that are challenging and they're not even that thoughtful or challenging, but like they're well made, and I was just like on board with all of them. I loved all those movies.
Yeah, man, that's probably what ended up like starting the chain reaction of you living in LA and doing this podcast.
Probably, yeah. It was like, watching grown-up movies as a child and being like, oh god, people make grown-up movies. That's awesome. But Ghost was definitely one of those that like totally checked all the boxes of like everything here is good and they executed everything really well and this is a great movie.
Yeah.
So wait, we're talking Blade now. We're back on.
I forgot.
I mean, we had
backtrack.
Ghost, we had Blade. I think we could also
talked
talk about The
about Ron
Wire
Perlman.
season 2 or any season.
I'm just keeping a list of all the future things we're going to cover on this show.
You did Ron Perlman.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
talked about
why
Ron
you mentioned Ron
Perlman
Perlman?
earlier, right? And Ron Perlman's in Blade 2 or 1 or.
He's in Blade 2.
Two.
I mentioned him because he's in the Conan
I had a
remake.
friend who used to say I looked like Ron Perlman, and I really hope it was flattering. I'm curious about what it means.
Here's the thing. Your friend probably was referring to your face, in which case not flattering. But if he was referring to your physique, flattering. So,
okay.
it kind of depends on what part of you.
So were you shirtless when he called
Yeah.
you Ron Perlman?
I don't remember. I don't recall.
Were you ripped when he
No,
called
if
you
Colin
Ron Perlman?
does, if Colin does colored sunglasses and a ponytail, then he's Woody Harrelson
in
Yeah.
Natural Born Killers.
at
Yes.
Natural Born
Yeah.
Killers. Yeah.
Very much so, yeah. Unless he's got his Ra's al Ghul mustache going, and then he's got to be something slightly different. I don't know what.
Yeah, he's trying to make that work.
I'm clean shaven right now, but
Yeah.
it'll come back someday.
Yep. No, right now you look like the bad guy from Passenger 57.
Oh, well.
Google it.
Thank you.
I mean, Google it. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh.
Oh.
You've also got strong killer Buffalo Bill thing going on right now.
Why are we picking any protagonists here?
James
Was she a
Gum.
great big fat person? I think I have a
fuck
card.
me? I'd fuck me.
Oh my god.
What about Colin? Are you trying to do like a Vigo the Carpathian?
That's another good one.
Vigo-
You've got
Vigo's
so many
the
Halloween options.
Holy shit.
Look,
These are
Like,
all so good. Folks,
we're
we're
really
gonna post
painting a
all these to our
picture for our
Instagram.
listeners.
I think, except that Colin's in charge of our Instagram, so
The
that might not
Scourge of
happen.
Moldavia.
so wait, is the villain from Passenger 57? Oh yeah,
Yeah, you're
that
seeing
guy's
it
good
now.
looking.
You're seeing it
Yeah.
now.
Who is it? Let's see. Hold it up.
That's good. Give him one to boost the confidence.
Oh,
That looks like James
It
Gunn.
does. It
does
looks
look like
a
James Gumb.
lot like James Gumb. We're all on the same page here. What's amazing is that three antagonists of three famous movies look so similar, and Colin is biting all their looks.
But I'm like making it work though. I'm like Will Smith in The Men in Black. I make it look good.
Oh God.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
just don't stand in like a power stance with your fists on your hip.
I know. That's something I've always had to work on because I have that natural tendency to stand that way.
It's just your casual stance.
Puts the lotion in the basket. Have we talked about everything in this movie? What else is there? The girl Valeria. We talked about her.
I just wanted to mention that I love the final shot where he's just like, it's just that long shot of
With
him
the
on
beard.
the throne
And
as
it's
an
like,
old
yeah,
man.
it's
Oh,
so
yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that is so
Yeah.
fucking cool. I don't know.
That's him sitting on the throne with the troubled brow.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm just, it's just
King
very cool.
King by his own
Very
hand
cool.
is the phrase that I like that they always repeat in this movie.
Well, that's
Right.
perverted. I'm just kidding. Matt,
Wait.
why'd you say that?
Have we done? We haven't done top 4 yet.
Oh yeah, let's.
Is
do
it
top
that
four.
time?
Who's in
Yeah.
charge of top 4? I don't know. It could be.
Who wants to be in charge of it?
But
Who can we do? We can't do Arnold. We've done him already.
James Earl Jones. We got to do James Earl Jones, right?
don't we take
That's
turns?
the only one we'll have a chance.
I feel like it's whoever picked the movie does the top 4, right? Is that how we
Okay,
usually
then it's
do it?
James
Sure,
Earl Jones.
that's the rule now.
All right.
Colin, you're up.
All right.
If James Earl Jones is too hard, you can do John Milius. You could do Oliver Stone.
I want to do James Earl Jones. Oliver Stone's kind of a stretch. Like, I don't think we saw his version of the script, really. You know?
Well, top 4 is their top 4 grossing
No,
movies?
it's
No,
whatever IMDb
there's no rhyme or reason.
says their top
Oh,
4 movies. So don't get on IMDb. Do not get on IMDb.
Yes.
I'm not-
but
I'm
there's
not-
no
I'm
way
just
for you to
making sure I'm
figure
still
out what it
recording
is
it.
because there's no rhyme or reason to it
No
at all.
rhyme or reason.
Wait, Tim, you
Okay,
didn't
so
play
it's
this
not just
last
like-
time? Did we not?
Oh, we did.
Oh, we
I
did?
just-
Okay.
I'm just
All right.
clarifying. Yeah, just clarifying.
All right, you guys.
This is not just all Star Wars
Uh,
with this guy.
whoever's ready.
I'm ready for
we'll start with-
JEJ. I'm ready. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, guess
Yeah.
goes first.
Let
Guess
Tim
guess
can
goes
go
gets the
first,
first
yeah.
pick.
No, it just has to be in the top 4,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, one of his top 4 according
All
to IMDb.
I'm going with The Sandlot.
No.
I'm
That's a
going
great
with.
guess.
I'm
Damn.
going to go with Field of Dreams.
You're wrong. That's another great guess. Every guess you're gonna guess
Yeah.
is gonna be great. But yeah.
But they're all
There's so many good ones. I don't even want hints. I just want to
mean-
keep on guessing.
Should I just say the obvious? Star Wars,
Oh
First
yeah.
one?
You need to say which movie.
A New Hope.
That is wrong.
Ooh.
All right.
I think I'm watching an Australian stream of the NBA because I keep seeing Hungry Jack's commercials. And I think,
Crikey, he sinks another one.
I think that's Australian
Yeah.
Burger King.
What? Because they
Yeah,
can't have kings
um,
there.
Yeah, exactly. They can only have jacks.
I don't know why I know that. I just know it. I've never been there. Oh yeah, no, shavershop.au.
Yeah, it's definitely Australian.
Foster's.
Anyway,
A lot of Foster's
Anyway.
commercials here.
I don't know. Yeah, if it's not Star Wars and it's not
It's
Sandlot.
one of the Star Wars.
It's-
Guess a different Star
It's
Wars.
not
One of the
Star
Star
Wars: A
Wars.
New Hope.
Oh.
It's not Star Wars: A New Hope.
Oh, I'm gonna say Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi is correct.
Okay, because that's when they revealed he was a
All
white.
right.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess Coming to America.
Oh no, that is number 5.
On.
You're wrong. I'm sorry.
What are the other 3?
We'll get him. We'll get him.
There's a big one that you guys should have gotten already.
I've got a third guess.
Oh,
I've guessed
oh,
two.
I got it.
I've guessed 2 good ones so far.
Is it
Wait,
this
is it
movie?
the
I
is
got
it the
it.
hint round?
No,
Is it the hint
No,
round?
not yet.
no hint.
I guess, and then it's the hint round. I'm gonna guess The Lion King.
Ah,
That
damn it.
was the one I was gonna
That
hint
was-
at.
that
Yes,
was
you
my
are
next
correct.
one.
I was. You know what I was gonna do? I was gonna be like, look, guys, you haven't gotten one yet. No worries.
I wouldn't have known that
It's
hint.
the translation of Hakuna Matata. Okay.
I'd still.
All right, 2 more.
All right.
These are the hard ones.
Oh.
It's not this movie.
Well, it's the hint round now, isn't it?
Yeah, hint round. Okay. One of these movies stars Sean Connery.
This was my next guess. I can't believe you're just giving. Matt stole my last next guest, and now Tim's gonna, if he's good, steal my next guest.
Not good. I don't know.
You don't know?
No, I
Guess
don't
a
know.
different
Is it
one.
my
Yeah,
turn?
it's
I
your
don't
turn,
know.
Tim.
Can you give him a hint for the other movie?
Yeah, what's
the
the
other
other movie?
movie
Come on.
has Forrest Whitaker.
Ooh.
The other movie is the hardest one.
Oh, I think I know
Ghost
the other
Dog,
movie too.
Way of
I
the
think I know the last
Samurai.
2.
It's not. It's
Is
not
it not Ghost Dog, Way of
No,
the
I don't
Samurai?
think he's even
Okay.
in that.
No, he's
but
not.
that's a
I
great
just-
Forrest Whitaker movie. Maybe the best. Maybe
I
the
was
best
just
Forrest
hoping.
Whitaker movie. Okay, I'll guess the I'll guess the Sean Connery one first, because Matt's gonna mess up the Forrest Whitaker one. It is Hunt for Red October.
The Hunt for Red October is correct.
Yeah, I was just gonna guess Tom Clancy movies from there on out, but now I'm not.
So it's a Forrest Whitaker joint.
Forrest Whitaker's not the star. I'll tell you this. It also has Mads Mikkelsen, I believe.
Oh, now you're just giving it away. For the record, I knew this one before you said that.
It's the movie in question. My least favorite part is when the robot dies.
It's Rogue One. Now he's just trying to give it to you.
Yeah, I know. What the hell? You didn't. It's Rogue One.
Oh, another Star Wars movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's some bullshit.
And like, it's the one he's like least technically in.
Yeah,
you know,
he's barely in it at all.
Yeah.
That is a hard one.
What robot does?
The Forrest Whitaker
The
gave
robot?
it away, though.
when the robot.
When you
dies.
said Mads Mikkelsen, I did not think of Mads Mikkelsen. I thought of the guy from Reservoir Dogs who cuts the guy's ear off. What's that actor's name?
Michael Madsen.
That's
Oh,
who I
yeah.
thought of.
I thought
so
of-
I'm like Michael.
I thought of
Madsen.
Virginia Madsen, and I was like, wait, Sideways? James Earl Jones wasn't in Sideways?
This is very good wine.
Merlot. Only pussies drink Merlot.
Now it's Sean Connery in Sideways. Sean Connery as Paul Giamatti in Sideways.
he would have nailed it.
Yeah.
Well, good job. And the Coming to America 2 is actually the one that was the fifth one.
Yeah.
There's a fifth one?
I thought one of the ones that I guessed was the fifth one. I thought Coming to
Coming to
America, and you said that was the
That's
fifth.
what I'm.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, I'm.
So I was not
talking
even
about
close
what
on
we
that
were
one.
talking about. I know it's rare that I'm actually talking about what we were talking about, but
I do think I think we named all of James Earl Jones's greatest movies, though.
Yeah, no, totally.
What about The Exorcist 2?
That's true. That's true. What was the name of that? Pazuzu? No, Pazuzu was a demon.
Wait.
Kokomo.
Kakumo. Yeah, Kakumo.
It's like a lot like Kokomo, like that song.
I see you've collapsed on my floor. This happens all the time.
What if James Earl Jones did a cover of that song? Aruba, Jamaica, come on, pretty mama.
What if James Earl Jones was wearing a locust headdress in Conan?
Oh, that.
I mean, he has a snake headdress in
Yeah,
this movie. It's
Seriously.
close enough.
Thulsa Doom is a cool name. I assume that's from the novels.
Yeah,
Or
I think
short-
it
It's
is.
Sorry,
actually, I read it's a Kull the Conqueror villain that they ported over to this movie.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, because the same guy who created Conan also created Kull the Conqueror. So they kind of like mix in the same world, I think.
It makes me think of MF Doom. R.I.P.
MF2.
I mean,
Or Dr.
how
Doom.
often do you hear the last name Doom? It's uncommon.
Or
You know,
Dr.
like
Doom.
only the big three. Yeah.
what's the guy's name in
Actually, my
Roger Rabbit?
my physician
Judge
is named
Doom.
John Doom.
Judge Doom. Yeah.
my physician, John Doom. What's the bad news, Doc?
What's the bad news, Dr. Doom?
I once went to a urologist named Dr. Sunshine.
Ah.
That's not a joke. I really did. I always thought that was a funny name for a urologist.
Yeah.
I mean,
Harris, did you ever go to Dr. Griner?
Dr.
the
Griner was
dentist?
my dentist for my whole
Yeah, me too,
childhood
me
and
too.
most of my adulthood.
oh yeah, I forget
believe
that.
he died-
Wait, you guys are from the same town? Or
Yep.
What's going on here? What's the connection? You guys are
I
brothers?
believe he died hiking. in the
Yeah,
Galapagos.
exactly. He
That's
died
crazy.
unexpectedly, very young, on vacation doing something semi-strenuous. Yeah,
But I used to think his name was Dr.
Grinder. Yeah,
when
which
I
would
was
have
a kid,
made
that's why.
some sense. He was really nice though. He put my braces on and he fixed my teeth when they got messed up the first time. Yeah, yeah. We grew up in the same town, and Tim is my youngest brother's age. So they were friends. They went to school together.
Yeah, that's how I met. That's how
You
I
might
met.
say they are connected.
I don't even know what that. Oh, because
Connecticut,
Connecticut.
yeah.
Yeah,
He's trying to
that's
do
a
a
real.
Connecticut-
That's a real stretch.
Connecticut.
I feel like you got to introduce the fact that we're from Connecticut again, and then mispronounce the state. It takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a long walk.
Anyway, Colin's.
I didn't have the heart for it.
There's another great death that we forgot to mention, I think.
Which
the
one?
Guy, or we may have mentioned it. The guy stirring the soup. So Arnold's partner comes up behind him and he taps him on the shoulder, and when he turns around, he's got like a messed up, he's got a mask that comes down to here, and he's like, this.
Yeah.
And,
The no sex.
and then he just gets stabbed in the throat and like blood.
Yeah,
comes-
he also had a
that
no
was
sex
good.
face, but that's like just totally beside the point.
Oh,
You know why I like that one, Matt? Is because it goes from like the really silly orgy music, and then as soon as the knife hits, it goes back to that badass music.
Also, then he dumps the pot,
a
and
good
you
one.
see like hands and skulls flop down the stairs.
yeah, there's a
and
head
skull,
in there. It's
a
not
skull
just
sits on the
hands.
stairs, and then it's there in a later shot where it's like they didn't move it; they just kept that skull right on the stairs, right where.
Yeah, I like that shot that they go back to. So are we to believe that they kill people and then they boil them down into like liquid toothpaste and then eat them?
I mean, I don't think
Is
they
that what
boil
it's
them down that
supposed to
much
be?
because it seems like there's still a lot of meat on the bone there.
the question is
Yeah.
like, how does it
They need a
relate?
crock pot.
Yeah,
How does it relate to the sex?
Slow cook.
The sex acts. Like, is it part of it? Is it just kind of like
it's part of
like-
that's all an aphrodisiac is eating people goo.
Why is it so green? Like,
It's definitely like pea soup.
It's got
what is the ingredient that makes it the green color?
it's got
Is
a
it the evil?
I think
Snake, maybe. No, they
Might
wouldn't
be a lot
kill
of
snakes.
tarragon.
They worship snakes.
Tarragon.
Snake cum.
Snake cum.
That's why he's got to morph into the
Yeah.
giant snake.
I'm off to make
From my giant snake penis.
I got to unload in this.
Hold down the
cauldron.
fort. I'm off to make the soup.
Oh man.
It's just another Thursday for me.
I don't know. These jokes are pretty nasty. We wouldn't want to make our fans recoil.
If you
Anyway,
if you boil it, I will come.
Quite literally. I mean, I don't know. We got a lot of time left. Should we do let's do an Oliver Stone top 4. Come on.
Okay.
All right,
Sure.
fine.
I feel
We'll
like
do
we
that.
could knock
All
it
right.
out.
All
We'll
right.
do that.
one more, and then we're out of NBA.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
watch, so.
The basketball games are over. Matt, good luck cutting all the NBA out of this one. I think you have to leave it in. We mentioned it so many
I'm
times.
not cutting this one. You've doomed yourself. You're cutting this.
All right. Oliver Stone, IMDb. Let's make sure it's the right Oliver Stone. Let's see here. Yep, that looks like him. That looks like the right guy. Okay, I'm ready.
All right, Tim, you get to go first.
Oh, and there's no
Nope.
rhyme or reason.
They're
You're
all
telling
kind
me.
of they're usually famous stuff, but who the hell knows?
Only IMDb knows what their reasons are.
I'll go with Any Given Sunday.
Oh,
Oh,
deep
no,
cut.
I'm sorry.
Wrong.
Good guess. Good guess.
I will go with JFK.
JFK is
Ooh.
correct.
Damn, that's what I was gonna say.
That is one magic bullet.
That is one long ass movie.
To the left.
Yeah, I like it.
I will guess Platoon.
Ooh,
That is
good one.
correct.
Good one.
Damn, I forgot about that movie.
Tim, you're up.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to. Oh, I went to I saw him speak at the Egyptian for Natural Born Killers. So let's go with
Natural
that.
Born
That's a good
Killers
one.
is correct.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, nice.
I'm gonna go. I have a good director one that I want to pick, but I'm gonna save it and go with a writer one. Scarface.
Wrong.
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 I'm gonna go with. I know he's got better movies than this, but Nixon.
Ooh, yeah.
Wrong.
Wrong.
I think this is the hard one, but it's still a movie that
There's
I've
two more really
definitely-
famous ones, like Oscar-nominated ones that he's got that I can think of. If it's fucking Heaven and Earth, I quit
Wait.
forever. But
Is it the hint round?
It
Oh,
is,
yeah,
but
it
can
is.
I ask
Yeah,
a
yeah.
question? Are these all for directing, or are some of them for writing, Colin?
So on the ones that you've already got, he's credited as producer on JFK.
well,
which
he
I
was a
believe he
director on
directed
all of
also.
those, the ones that we've got.
And then Platoon, he's credited as director. Natural Born Killers, he was credited as director. I don't know if I should tell you. We're in the hint round, so the next one he's credited as producer, but I think he did direct it as well.
Yeah, he's directed all the ones so far. Actually, I thought of another one. So there's 3 more pretty famous movies he's known for.
Okay, so here's the hint. This movie has. I don't know if the hint's gonna be too easy.
It is gonna be too easy.
Spit it
All
out.
right. This movie stars Tom
For
Cruise.
God's sakes.
Oh yeah.
Come on.
Also, you want to think about like the month that comes after.
Oh,
this month.
Jesus, Colin.
Oh,
Is it?
God.
Is it
and perhaps
born
the
on
opposite
the
of
4th
death.
of July?
Yes, born on the
Yeah.
4th of July is correct.
Nice.
Okay, Colin officially sucks at top 4.
That was tough. That was
his,
tough.
His hints
that
are
was tough.
way too easy all the time.
No, that was tough.
We still had Wall Street and The Doors left that were like huge movies for him.
I forgot
Yeah.
about both of those.
We shouldn't have had a hint round there because we were still going pretty strong.
I don't know if you've noticed this, Harris, but if it's the hint round and it's the guest's turn, I make the hints way easier.
Yeah, I've noticed, Colin. It pretty much ruins the game, which is what I'm saying.
No, I don't feel that way.
No, that was tough. That was tough. That was a tough one.
I don't think I've
all
ever
right.
seen Born on the 4th of July.
Oh, it's good.
It's about this guy
I
who
would
was
say it's Cruise's
born on the 4th
best.
of July.
I've never seen Days of Thunder either, and I want to see Days of Thunder more, and I know it's worse.
That
What
if
does that mean?
all that checks out. That makes sense with your taste. I actually think you'll probably like it better.
The guy who he plays in Born on the 4th of July, I forget his name, but the real guy is from where I grew up. And in the movie, he goes to like a recruitment, like to join the army or whatever he's in. It's in Levittown.
Ron Kovic?
Kovic, yeah. Sounds familiar.
Ron Kovic.
I don't know if we're pronouncing it right, but that's his name.
It's
Kovic or
Kovic.
Kovic.
Yeah.
I think it's Kovic.
Kovic.
This is important. Can we call somebody?
Tony
It's photo
Let's rate
friend.
this thing. Can we rate this movie?
Sure.
Tony Kukoc.
Tony Kukoc.
Bring out the Dolphins, the Timothy Dolphins.
It looks like no one wants to go first.
Colin, you sound like you want to go first. You're talking.
I don't, though.
Well,
I don't want to go first.
I'll go
Okay.
first. Remind me the rating system.
1 through 10.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's very complicated.
If you've never seen it before, I'd say I'd give it like a 7.5, and I'd say you should watch it. Just I have something else to do during the couple stretches.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not gonna go too hard on it because it does take a lot of swings, and I like the supernatural shit, and I'm a huge fan of the bloodshed in the second half, and I really like the end. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, 7.5 seems fair.
All right, solid score.
Oh, my dog just walked by me, creepy.
You probably heard that dolphin noise from your headphones.
Maybe, yeah. It's like, what the fuck?
What dolphin noise? Colin, you're up.
All right. I think that I'm gonna do something similar. I'm thinking about an 8. Timothy Dolphins. It's nice. It's pretty classic. I mean, it's like a little bit, intense with like the macho, just like, oh yeah, you can just like make everything submit to your, I don't know, whatever. But it's also like super fun fantasy where like all these weird characters. We didn't talk a lot about his thief buddy, but like so many weird characters and like beautiful sets and costumes and things like that. And honestly, like some of the macho stuff is well done. Like it's like, it's got a nice vibe at times.
Nice homoeroticism to it.
Yeah, that's, I guess, what I was talking about. I don't know. Yeah, 8 Timothy Dolphins. You know, like, maybe that's a little too high, but
Yeah, you said it. So.
yeah.
Harris.
Matt Harris.
I'm kind of
I feel like
torn.
we're really losing steam here.
Yeah, no, I'm more focused than I've been all episode because the basketball games are over. No, I'm kind of torn because I enjoyed this movie. I felt like it was too long and too scattered and too meandering, but the parts that were there were really well done. And I think you just see a glimpse of Arnold's star power. You don't really see the full extent of it. But at the same time, for like kind of a over-the-top macho action movie, it does all the over-the-top macho action stuff really well. Yeah, I kind of, it's good. It's good. I'm gonna give it 6. I was trying to choose between 6 and 7, but I'll give it 6 Timothy Dolphins. A sympathetic 6 Timothy Dolphins. It could have been better. It could have been tighter and more focused. And not everything is aged well, but a lot of stuff is really good. It's definitely on the more entertaining side. It's not a dog.
Yeah, that's a solid score you got there.
It's not a dog. It's a dog in armor.
Yeah, that's right. It's a Rottweiler with chest plates.
Hell yeah.
Are you gonna wait? Sorry, Tim. Are you gonna make a suit of armor for your dog?
Dude, I want to after
That'd
that.
be so
Little helmet.
sick. You gotta, like, a chest piece, a helmet.
Dogs love that, by the way, I think.
Is your dog dressed up for Halloween? Yeah, it's one of the killer dogs.
And then you just need Colin to show up in a Conan the Barbarian outfit.
Just
Hell yeah.
just have him wear it like every day. Just like this is part of his personality.
Well, it's gonna be 100 degrees.
Oh yeah, that's bad.
in
Yeah.
Vegas. So. Anyway,
yeah.
Stepping on Matt here.
So my thoughts are basically I tend to like these sword and sandal or sword and sorcery movies. I grew up watching like the Beastmaster on TV a lot. And I feel like these movies are bad. And I knew that even as a kid. You know, they're silly and they're cheap. And, you know, they're kind of good because they're bad, if that makes any sense. Or like that is the thing that you like about them, you know. But I feel like I was impressed with this one. I would venture to say that of the 80s era like sword and sorcery movies, like I truly feel like this one it hits it out of the park. This is like the best one in terms of budget. It feels, for lack of a better word, epic. There's a lot of horse stunts. There's like all the sets and everything look really cool. It's a little whitewashed, you know, the villains and stuff, like except for James Earl Jones. I feel like I wanted to see more like Mongol looking characters if it were made today.
But they get to be the heroes.
I don't want to interrupt. There were quite a few like Asian actors as the extras and like some of the smaller characters in the city and stuff like that.
You're right. Yeah, whitewash is a little harsh. I feel like.
I just saw that horse roll down the hill. That was not good for the horse.
Like really bugged me.
Oh yeah, those guys are weird though. They've got the weirdest fucking vibe.
Yeah, they just don't feel like they're from this movie. They feel like two like guys from Metallica.
Euro trash.
They were just like, hey, you want to be in this movie? Yeah.
Okay, we just came from Stuttgart. Get into a car. We're going to Bad Nauheim.
Bad Nauheim?
Bad Nauheim to go to the
I
club.
won't shave my mustache. Yeah, I really think, you know, it looks good. It sounds good. The music is great. Arnold, yeah, I mean, for not saying much, he does have star power and you can feel it. And I too tried, like Harris said earlier, I tried to watch it from the perspective of someone from 1982. Like, am I just loving this because it's Arnold, or am I loving this because this guy who I don't know is like doing a really good job as this Conan guy? And I think he really sells it. He's got a compelling face. You know, you just like every choice that he makes, and I think that's why he, you know, moved up in his career the way he did. I like all the violence. I like all the boobs. I like, you know, I like a lot here. I really think the thing that hurts this movie is that it does tend to take too long to get through certain things, and it does meander a bit. I mean, if this movie was like 20 minutes to a half hour shorter in length, I think it would do it a lot of good. Having said that, I did start to daydream a little bit in certain sequences. I'd find myself like not paying attention all of a sudden. And I think for that, I have to give this the coveted 6 giant snake penises. I mean, 6 Timothy dolphins. Yeah, so there we go.
Seek.
Yeah,
It's just like a young adult fiction with like supernatural elements, and that's like one of the middle school teachers. That's what I see. You know
For our listeners, Tim has held up a picture of Colin that Colin sent us earlier, where he's wearing goofy glasses and making a goofy face.
In other
But
words,
he still has that James Gum look.
yeah. In other words, a picture of Colin. They're almost all like that. They're just the only variation is the type of glasses and goofy face.
It's like
You know, he took that picture and looked at it and was like, "Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me."
Hard fuck me.
Oh yeah, was he a great big fat person?
I really want to watch Manhunter again. It's been a long time since I've seen that.
Let's save that for a future series that we might cover.
Well, if we ever do Silence of the
That's a good
Lambs,
one.
it's a for sure one.
Yeah, that's like the
Yeah,
for sure bonus movie.
yeah.
I'm gonna tap out, Jen, and I'm
All
gonna
right.
go to bed.
I think we
Before you go, Tim, what is best in life?
I don't remember the speech. Something crushing your enemies and lamentation,
Okay.
taking their women.
It's
The
crushing your
lactation of your women.
Crush
The lactation.
the lactation.
the
I'm into
women in the
lactation.
land crushing.
It's crushing your enemies, seeing them driven before you,
and hear the
and hearing the
lamentation
lamentation
of their women.
And then the other guy in the room's like, "Oh yeah, that's it."
yeah. All the guys who gave the wrong answer are like, "Oh, can I change my answer?" I love that.
Yeah, I don't want to take up more time, but I thought it was hilarious, like the blocking of that scene. They're all in the big war meeting, and he is sitting Indian style or crisscross applesauce, whatever. Sorry, I didn't mean to. On the
offense.
middle of the table,
Yeah. Like, I'm trying to eat here, buddy. Can you sit somewhere
and
else?
he's still like their property. At
Well,
this
yeah,
point.
that's what I
So,
thought.
That's where
I thought
they
it was
want him
because he
to
was,
be.
Yeah, he was basically like table decoration. They're like, "Here, Conan,
Oh,
you're the
okay.
centerpiece. Okay, so sit here." And
You got
sit
like your
here.
salt shaker, your pepper mill, and then your
here's
Arnold.
our barbarian.
Sitting on the table.
If anybody needs any sweat or hair,
Yeah, we're out of salt. Just use some of his thighs.
exactly.
I'm coming. I'm constantly coming.
Make him do the thing about the lamentation of the women.
That other guy tries to say something, and they're like, "Wrong,
Yeah,
Conan."
you're stupid.
Say
Listen,
the
listen
thing.
to the centerpiece. The centerpiece knows all this shit.
Tim, you got anything going on that you want to talk about, promote, anything? Got some big news coming up? I know some big news. Someone's moving back to L.A.
What?
Yeah, well, no, actually, I'm moving to Vegas on the 12th.
Vegas?
So yeah.
They both start with
Yeah,
loss,
I'm,
kind of.
Yes.
yeah,
Kind
you know.
of.
What are you doing in
No.
Vegas?
Well, no, they both. Well, we wanted to live.
Closer
You
to
know,
the
we
gambling
wanted to
mecca
live in
of the
Vegas, and
world?
it's- No, well,
Did our talk of
That's a
showgirls
bonus.
inspire you?
Yeah,
that's a bonus. Nah, did you didn't release that one?
we
yet,
just
I don't
did.
think.
We just
Yesterday.
did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I don't know. We were looking at LA and Vegas. Those were our two spots. We wanted to live in Vegas. It's close enough to LA, and we both have our own shit going on. We both work from home essentially, so.
So you're saying we all
Why
have
not?
a place to crash when we go to Vegas?
You do. I have a 2-bedroom.
Yes.
There are also hundreds of hotels, but we are
What does that mean?
we are right downtown. Like if you know, yeah, we're
Why
right
would you mention
downtown.
the hotels like that?
We're
It's
2
a
blocks.
hint. It's called a subtle hint.
We're like 2 blocks from the El Cortez.
Yeah, so if you want to
we're
stay
like
close
right
enough to
there.
visit them without actually imposing on them.
No, we do it. We got a 2-bedroom, so yeah, one at a time. Crash them.
Wait, did you say you were living walking distance to the Strip?
No, he's on Fremont.
No, we're downtown.
Oh,
Yeah,
Tim, we all sleep in the same bed when we travel, so so
Oh,
so
then
it could be all 3 of us.
that would work then.
We sleep
That's
head to
fine.
foot to
We're
head
like
to
the Three
foot.
Stooges in that
yeah,
way.
exactly.
Well,
We enter your house,
Head
we're
to
like,
foot.
hello.
The genitals are still lined up. Okay, that's fine. I didn't know the podcast. traveled.
Yeah, oh yeah.
is there a living room? Can we build a fort?
There's a dude. It's in LA. You know, it'd be like a $4,000
Oh,
place.
yeah.
You know, that's yeah, it's a 2-bedroom with a balcony and 2 bathrooms, and I don't know. It's a nice place. I'm sure if you come through Vegas, like you'll see it.
Oh, what?
Is there a pool?
Anyone who visits, yeah, there's a pool and all that.
It's
bullshit.
necessary.
I might never go to Vegas again.
Yeah,
Last time I was
absolutely.
there was Matt's bachelor party, and it was not a great experience for me.
Yeah.
But, it's
That's true.
That's how I
remember.
found out that Colin knew, because Colin's like, oh, so yeah, there's this guy
got
named
all
Harris,
fucked up.
and he's really tall, and I'm like, oh, not Harris McCabe, and he's like,
yeah, that guy was a mess.
That's how I found out that he knew. Yeah, I heard the tales. I won't repeat.
Oh,
them
I think
on
I've
the-
told
on
them
the air.
on this podcast before, so we're not going to bore our audience.
Okay. Yeah,
It was a lot.
but yeah,
It was a lot like a Frank Zabatka moment, actually. Not to, call back to before, but he was like, "You mean Harris McCabe?" And I'm like, "Yeah. How do you know him?"
Well, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I figure everyone
Yeah.
knows me at this
All right.
point, so just known far and wide, notorious.
But yeah, we'll be there for
Awesome.
at least a year. So.
Nice. Well, congrats.
All right, cool.
All right, Tim.
All
We'll
right,
let
yeah,
you get some sleep.
Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, for sure.
Appreciate it. It's always fun.
All right.
Alrighty. Well, that's our show. Let's go find some lactating women. or
Yeah,
whatever
everyone go
we were talking
crush your
about.
enemies and see them driven before
Snake
you. and
penis.
Hear the lamentations of the snake
1,000
penises.
snake penises.
I'm coming and coming.
All right, see you later, guys.
All right, we here at License to Watch would like to thank all of you for listening and for subscribing and for being fans of this ridiculous show. I'd like to give a special shout out to Max Serwitz, who jumped in this week to do the Conan remix song that you're listening to right now, which is Tight Butthole. As always, if you like what you're listening to, rate us, subscribe, join our Patreon. Hey, we have a Patreon at patreon.com/L2W, and for just $1 a month, you get to listen to bonus episodes where we cover non-franchise classics. So check that out for sure if you like this show. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time with Conan the Destroyer, motherfuckers.
In the time when the ocean drank Atlantis and the rise of the sons of Aryas, there was an age undreamed of. And unto this, Conan, destined to bear the jeweled crown of Aquilonia upon a troubled brow.